You say the third time is the charm because we got to launch on the third try here. It is going to be the third try at this game. So both teams
Oh,
using a re-early. Go ahead.
Tyrant going with the same strat again.
Okay.
Tato is building the barracks in the center of the map at about 1 minute and 30 seconds. This is a very, very unusual strategy. It's something that we just do not see normally. But he's going to do a 3 militia rush by 3 minutes of game time and start sending it straight in toward one of the Aftermath players. Tyrant starting out extremely aggressive here with this barracks.
Yeah, and just so everybody knows, as Zach said already, it is the grand final here, best of 7, game number 1, Aftermath versus Tyrant. We saw a couple rees in a row because of lost villagers. As you said, Tato can go for this strat again because, as you said, like a car wreck, if you can't stop it, it's too early for the other team to adjust to the strategy. So Tato's going to go for it again. What do you make of the brief pauses here? Are these tactical pauses? What do we have going on here, Zach?
Probably technical issues, maybe TeamSpeak lag, maybe, who knows. But hopefully the game will resume and there won't be too many issues here. Obviously, players want to be completely comfortable before settling in for what could potentially be a 40-minute game, making sure everything is in place. Especially, it's such an important stage of the tournament that this is, the grand finals here. So, Tato as well, I mean, another thing we didn't consider with this aggression from Tato is that the Aftermath team have no guarantee that he's going to do it again anyway. And they wouldn't preemptively prepare for this because if they do, it could actually hurt them more than it helps them. So I think this is still a good call from Tyrant to do this. And while it is paused, maybe we could take this opportunity to go around and introduce the players while everything is frozen still here.
Yeah, man, let's do that. One thing jumps out at me, which I'll talk about last for the Aftermath team. First, I'll talk about Heart. Heart picking the Spanish build quickly, so it's a nice civ on this map. They're also pretty good at being harassing on open maps, and maybe you use that stone for a castle drop in Conks. Who knows? Leary's going to be pocket Berbers. Berbers are an extremely strong civ. That was the third pick for Aftermath, so that's kind of their high echelon civ for this game. And on the bottom of the map will be MBL in the gray. MBL choosing the very last pick of the draft, the Vietnamese, right off the bat in game 1. What do you make of that Vietnamese pick, Zach? That's interesting.
Well, I mean, like you said earlier on in this sort of Civ draft analysis, you're kind of drip feeding those weaker Civs into the mix is maybe a good way to sort of even out the balance of power throughout the whole series of games. As you say, Vietnamese were the last pick for Aftermath, and yet here they are in game number 1. Which, you could argue is one of the most important games in this best of 7 series, because this is the game that sets the tone for the remaining series. It's the game that says, all right, okay, one team has now got the advantage and you're now playing catch up from the start. So I think it's fine for a couple of reasons. A is because Viper's taken the Portuguese, and we've already discussed how they are perhaps not such a strong civ. But they're also an archer civ, and they can function very well, even still, on the flank here against the Viper's Portuguese, who he's playing in as the yellow just to the left of MBL's TC out here.
Suggestion from the chat here, which I think is pretty clever. You don't have to do damage with those militia. You can lame with those militia, right?
Oh, yeah.
So that could be interesting to watch. We're unpaused now, Zach, and I'll throw it to you. I introduced the Aftermath team. What do you see on the Tyrant side of the board?
Absolutely. Viper in the yellow playing as the Portuguese. This is the surprise pick from the Tyrants. Looks like they've gone for a similar sort of approach of diluting their draft down a little bit with the weaker civs so that they maintain that balance throughout the series. He's on the right flank. In the pocket, we've got Doubt in the purple, playing as the Chinese expected. And then on the left side, Tato playing in the red as the Persians, also somewhat expected for a Nomad-style game. But those militia from Tato are on the way out, Killer B. There's 3 of them ready and waiting to go in that barracks. And it looks like Hart might just see that barracks as well. Look at his fog of war. He's hovering around, but he's not seeing it just yet.
Yeah, so the militia are out for the red player. Brief pause in the game. I believe it was the Aftermath side given the pause. As you said, probably just a technical issue with their team speak. What's up? What do you see?
Perfect timing from Tato. I don't know. Are you at 4 minutes and 30 seconds?
No, I'm at 4:04 at a pause.
Oh, Okay, well, I've somehow managed to go ahead here, but yeah, Hart's actually having his villagers raided on the mill right now by those 3 militia, and I hope you'll see this in just a second.
Huh.
Are you
Okay.
still paused?
Game just on pause for me, but I'm still going at regular speed at 4 minutes and 10.
Ah, well, I'm at 5 minutes and 10 now.
Oh, man.
I can
Weird.
slow down. I can slow down for you.
No, that's all right. I'll catch up.
Okay, are you fast forwarding now?
I'll try.
Okay, this is just classic. I'm paused now at 5 minutes 30.
Okay.
And now it's resuming. Okay. Well, the 3 militia from Tato are there, and they've lamed a deer already, or 2 deer already. They're going to harass the villagers off of the zebra as well. And this is only going to be annoying for Hart to deal with right now. It's so early in the game.
Yeah, it's a bit strange. I'm a bit behind you, but I am now at 520. I can't make it run faster than this, but I am seeing those militia coming in from Tato. That strat is very interesting. Another pause in the game that came in just now.
Yeah, it might be necessary for you to restart your game, I'm afraid. I had this issue with Only last week, where we got out of sync and restarting the game fixed it. So if we want to fix it, it might be good to do it now, because you can fast forward through and catch up to where the game actually is.
Sure, let's try it again. You have the special privileges, I think. That's why you're ahead of me.
I don't know. It's a strange bug with Voobly spectating, where you will fall behind if with the pauses sometimes. I don't know what causes it. It's very strange. But in the center of the map, we see Doubt as well, with the barracks coming up now, but he is on the way up to the feudal age, so he'll follow that up with some... Well, as the Chinese, he could do scouts or archers. He's got 3 bills on gold right now, so it looks like he'll drop double archery ranges in the center of the map, while Viper on the right side is about to start his range, I would assume. Though he could also go scouts as the Portuguese, and in fact he may just do that, as he doesn't have any villagers on gold right now. Meanwhile, Tato's still continuing to try and lane the zebra and just be annoying with the militia in the center of the map.
Yeah, it's actually very interesting, right? We were thinking about, oh, those militia will be so hard to defend against, and maybe we were both thinking about keeping your villagers safe. Tato just wants to kill your deer. He's after your zebra, and that's a beautiful tactic. It's really screwing up the eco. That early mill is very important on this map.
Yeah, and the harassment damage as well. I mean, he might not be killing any villagers. There's no deaths or kills so far this game, but at the moment he's denying these villagers from gathering, and that's slowing them down somewhat as well. So that's something to keep in mind, as Leary in the pocket is going for 2 archery ranges here, and he'll be mirroring Doubt as well. So it's going to be the Chinese versus the Berbers, both on archers. It's going to be Viper making scouts on the right side versus Leary's archers over here, and Hart probably going into, well, I imagine he'll be going into scouts in the feudal age here as well, but he is taking stone, so we could see a couple of towers from Hart as well.
Yeah, double range archers from both pocket players, which is very interesting to see, and both of those players building their ranges pretty far out toward the center of the map. Lots of hunt in the middle of the map, and obviously it's very hard to harass your opponent's gold and stone on this map. So let's harass the food, and then maybe later on we think about harassing those back wood lines. Another brief pause in the game, but I think I'm caught up to you now, Zach, and I'm ready to rock and roll, man. Game number 1 is finally upon us. No re this time.
Yeah, I'm at 10 minutes 23. Are you the same?
I am, man. We're
Perfect.
locked and loaded.
So hopefully we'll unpause at the same time. We'll be in sync. So did you restart the game?
Yeah, I jumped out and
Okay.
restarted. There was some issue because I was trying to fast forward. It wasn't letting me. I could see that I was 4 or 5 minutes behind, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Right, we're unpaused.
We're unpaused. Beautiful.
Perfect. And Viper's coming in with scouts in the middle of the map.
Yeah, I was going to note that. The Viper went with the stable early. His scouts are coming in. He is going to join up with Doubt's archers. Doubt at the moment has 3 or 4, and they're going to be the first army up in Leary's Grill.
Yeah, it's going to be the Tyrants to really keep this game sort of in their hands, right? They're the ones to launch the first attacks. They're going to clean up Leary's archers. That's giving them a nice little momentum increase on the center of the map. Well, on the right side, Viper's opting to kind of just ignore MBL and his archery range there. He's sending his scouts to group up with his teammates and focus on just one player, and that player is Leary.
Yeah, Viper is ignoring MBL, and MBL is circling around toward the Viper's TC behind that eco. So he's going to try to sneak in. We'll see how the Viper reacts. But for now, Leary has lost a Vil and several archers early on. Tato's Drush is still alive. All 3 of the Tyrants are up in Leary's face right now.
Yeah, and there goes the archers from MBL around the back, looking for something in Viper's base. Viper, though, does see it, and he's preparing with a watchtower in his wood line. And obviously, the villagers by the town center are very safe, thanks to the ability to garrison inside. So MBL not doing much damage in comparison to Viper here. Viper with quite a lot of scouts out already. He's got 5 military on the map and can easily clean up small numbers of archers from Leary. Leary is getting a little bit bullied right now, I feel.
Yeah, Leary is getting 2v1. Tato has peeled away. He's going over to look to see what the blue player is up to. We have not seen a lot from the blue player Hart, but we are seeing a stable and a blacksmith coming in. Hart right now has 0 military. So if he's thinking about Castle Age maybe at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very, very passive style from Hart, but he could make it work. He maybe got a little bit spooked by Tato's militia, and maybe he's thinking, well, if he's doing militia, I could just defend with a few towers and go for the sort of fast castle, get onto knights nice and fast. We'll see what happens over there in a minute, but on the right side of the map, Viper's going to find villagers of MBL going out to the wood line, building a tower, and getting denied.
Oh, boy.
Great start for the Tyrants here.
Yeah, and Viper's going to do what the pros do. He's going to get his scouts out in front of some of these vills and block their pathing, so he will kill, by the looks of it, 2 before MBL can get them back to the TC. Notably, Doubt is here as well with his archers, now has fletching, so MBL is going to have his hands full, 2v1 on that side. Notably, NBL's couple of archers that have been sneaking around have been defended by towers by the Tyrant team so far, and they haven't put in too much damage, but they are going to hit Doubt's woodline now.
But speaking of damage, Leary through the center of the map, garrisoning those archers inside of the ranges, will let loose and send Doubt's villagers packing. They have been gathering Zebra from the far center of the map, very far from safety. But he will actually be able to run them away without losing a single villager there. He may end up losing 1 in the end, but certainly not a bad result for Doubt. Quick reaction from him, and that's going to save the skin of a couple of his villas right now as he hops into the TC and back to safety.
Yeah, Doubt is getting a little pressure from MBL on the back of his base and a little pressure from Leary on the front of his base, but he does not seem to be mission critical yet. He's sending back reinforcements. Doubt for now has been cleaned up out of MBL's base. He did do a little idle eco damage, but nothing too major. Hart, who has been kind of a non-factor here so far, is going up to the Castle Age.
Yes, it's very unusual to see a player just going straight up with a fast castle without making any military first in the feudal age. It's put a lot of pressure onto MBL and Leary. Leary now going to lose his army as well, deep inside of Doubt's base, getting doubled. And of course, that's kind of expected. That's kind of what's going to happen when you've got 3 players doing military versus just the 2. We even have Tato getting value out of this militia drush, still killing a villager from Leary in the woodline at the back. Leary right now not looking so hot with his KD, and might even go south a little further as he loses another villager up here.
Yeah, Leary is really getting picked apart by a pretty nice little militia play from Tato. Tato does still have a lot of HP left, so he's going to keep harassing there by the looks of it. Hart, for those of you guys keeping track, he's had to build a couple towers at home. He is powering down stone. He may have enough for a castle soon, but I don't know if he'll drop a castle immediately. Eventually, we'll see that. But what do you think so far, Zach? Tyrant deciding to build 3 armies, Aftermath 2. Do you think Tyrant did enough damage here?
They've done damage. They've certainly done damage, but have they done enough? I mean, that's the big question. And I mean, Hart is really the unknown factor right now because he is going to come out with a castle. He's going to start making conquistador, and he's going to start raiding all around the map. And that can be very difficult to handle at this stage of the game. If he can start massing up those conquistador as well, even knights and camels are going to get one shot by them. Viper, though, has been incredible so far this game. Absolutely the MVP of the Tyrant team so far. 12 kills, 4 deaths, and very close behind Hart to the Castle Age. So he's going to be able to follow this up with knights as well here and keep that pressure on and keep snowballing that aggression. Let's see what Hart can do. His castle's nearly up.
Viper with Bloodlines and +1 defense already done. His Knights will start rolling out now. As you said, he hits the Castle Age at a decent moment. Doubt is on the way to Castle. He will be the next man up. But for now, it's kind of the two quote-unquote pocket players on this map who are up. The Castle is down from Heart, and we presume Conquistadors will be on the way. Tyrant getting in a lot of damage here early, but maybe those Conquistadors can pull it all back to equal in the next couple of game time minutes.
Yeah, the people in my chat recognizing that Viper has close to 1,000 gold in the bank right now. Well, I mean, the Portuguese, they do get 15% off gold production or gold cost on units, but Viper now being slung by Tato is going to go into Monks, probably adding a third stable in a minute as well. And I think this is a great use of the Portuguese. 15% gold reduction on units, and that's counteracting the sling tax, of course. And we've seen this with the Berbers getting a sling too in the past.
Yeah, and Tato is going to compensate for that sling and for that lack of an army by building a ton of towers at home. He's using all of that stone that's near his TC to build up a bunch of towers. So it will actually be a little difficult to raid that area with Conquistadors because there's probably 6 or 8 towers already up for Tato. Viper's Knights are starting to come out. He will head toward MBL's economy for now, and we'll see if he can get in damage with those units. First couple Conquistadors are in the middle of the map.
Yeah, and I just can imagine the tilt factor of MBL right here as he starts to lose units to conversions. I don't imagine he's using his MBL Villaloo mod, but oh man, we're going to certainly hear the Villaloos from MBL here, as well, from Viper in fact. But anyway, in the center of the map, Doubt rolling out. He's got the largest army in the game. He's got 29 crossbow, and he's got a target in his sights. Where is he going to go? At the moment, it could either be Leary or Hart. And we see Hart on the left side with the Conquistadors right now, trying to do some raiding damage onto Tato.
Yeah, Hart is trying to get into Tato's base. Tato, as we said, has towers everywhere. So those Conquistadors, they will soak up some arrow fire. But I don't know how much they can do. So far, they look pretty healthy. +2 defense is in for them. But they're taking fire from 3 different towers now.
Well, I mean, you're so right. I mean, they are looking so healthy. I mean, they got away with running under 3 towers. Tato doesn't even have fletching, and that actually is a big problem. His towers do 5 damage, and they fire 5 arrows. The Conquistador has 4 armor, so they're only doing 5 damage to these Conquistadors per hit. They have 75 health. You do the math. They tell me not to do it on stream. But I can tell you that makes those Conquistadors very tanky.
Incredibly good rating there from Hart, as we wanted those Conquistadors to try to equalize the game. Maybe they have. But the big scary army right now for me is the army of Viper and Doubt. Viper with +2 defense and Bloodlines on his Knights. Doubt is here with +2/+1. There's also a couple of Monks along with this group. And little old Leary is going to have to fight this with crossbows alone. The Viper's not patrolling, though, and he will run past this.
Well, I mean, Viper did turn. He made a beeline for the Monks there, but Leary's now caught out in the open, and he's got more Knights coming in from the south, so Leary's going to just take so much damage. He's going to lose his whole army here. And look at Leary's KD at the end of this. It's going to be ugly.
Yeah, Leary is losing everything. MBL's trying to come in from behind, but he might have been just a moment too late with a couple too few crossbows. Doubt's army is still somewhat healthy, and the Viper's Knights have reformed up, and they will chase MBL back home. So Conquistadors were not lost in huge numbers there from Hart, but they were not able to help Aftermath win that fight. And now Leary is back down to 2 military. Oof.
Yeah, Tyrant off to a really good start in this game so far. They've got a 400-point lead already, and Viper's just got to keep adding in more and more Knights as he goes up to the Imperial Age now as well. Now, obviously, those Conquistadors are a real big threat. They can one-shot the Knights, as seen here, but with the backup from the crossbow, it won't be so simple for Hart. And the Aftermath team right now are sorely lacking in numbers. Doubt has 40 military, Viper has 18, and together they have nearly double the army of Aftermath, and Viper's already up to the Imperial Age as well.
Yeah, Viper adding a 3rd stable. We may see more stables from him very shortly. Imperial Age for him at a very early time with 56 Vils with the help of Tato's Sling. Doubt's crossbows continue to roll around. He's actually got crossbows on both sides of those Conquistadors, so he could put a little bit of damage down on those units as they retreat. Leary's army is still very small at 9. MBL has a group of 23, but we haven't seen MBL get out of his own base very much in this game. We will see if those crossbows can become a factor in the middle of the map.
MBL was very quickly doubled in the early Castle Age, so that's understandable. But right now, Aftermath are going to have to absolutely play their hearts out if they want to be able to hold on to this once Viper hits Imperial. They're already working on taking down Lyri's archery ranges to stunt his production even more. And, you know, that 6 military is about to reduce down to, well, 1 again, because there's 6 archers held hostage within this archery range that are inevitably going to die. And without any production, Lyri's going to have to fall back and go to plan B, which right now, I'm not sure what plan B is.
Leary got 1 monk with those crossbows, so I guess if you're trying to put lipstick on a pig here, you can say, he sniped a monk. But this is a tough position as Leary loses those 2 ranges. He's in a lot of trouble with 1 military. Doubt, though, is getting doubled at the moment. He's a little bit needing Viper's help.
That was a little bit of bad communication between Tyrant right there, and you can see how much that costs them. Doubt going a little too far forward, Viper pulling back because he just hit Imperial, and Viper right now wants to keep as many knights alive as possible so that when that Cavalier upgrade comes in, he gets as many Cavalier as possible. So perhaps a little bit of misplay from Tyrant there, but it's certainly not enough to give Aftermath a sort of means to catch up at the moment. They are really going to have to rely on getting one of their players to Imperial here, or I mean, maybe, just maybe, they're going to double down on Heart and just pump out as many Conquistador as possible, because Conquistador in enough mass can deal with Cavalier quite nicely, but I think he's got to go in. He really has to go in.
Hart's adding in another castle now. That will be his second. He is on 91 Vils. Hart has bloomed up very nicely in this game. He's got heavy plow, and soon he'll have Imperial Age as well. But they're going to need to survive an onslaught from the Viper. He's got rams coming in, just regular old battering rams, but capture ram on the way. Cavalier with all the defensive upgrades you could want, and Doubt's crossbows are here too. So MBL is going to get picked on. The poor Vietnamese player, the weakest civ for Aftermath, is going to have to hold here. If they get their backs broken in the next few minutes, it's obviously over. But if they can hold this without too much damage, eventually 3 armies should do better than 2.
Yes, at some point the Tyrants will reach a population limit and they won't be able to add any more units. They are still quite a long way from that population limit though, and it is a bit of a worry. Now obviously the Portuguese don't get paladins, so the scalability of this civilization is not quite there compared to Hart, who is playing as the Spanish, but the speed is on the Tyrant's side, and Viper now splitting his army into 2 groups. He's trying to raid Leary and simultaneously pushing in with Doubt to attack MVL on that right side.
Yeah, and Tyrant coming out swinging here in game number 1. They had the first military on the map, which was Tato's militia. Those survived a long time and were annoying, and now they're the first team with a player in Imp. The Viper's Cavalier are rolling around on multiple fronts, and they are causing some serious eco damage. Tato has been slinging for quite a while. He's still in the feudal age and has not clicked the upgrade to castle. So, you know, the clock, as always, is ticking, but right now, Tyrant is looking pretty good with these rams rolling into MBL's economy.
So Hart's doing something quite unusual here. Normally the Spanish player goes into Cavalier and Paladin, but Hart knows that he's late to the Imperial Age, and he already has a lot of Conquistador out. So he's actually, like I say, doubling down on Conquistador production. He's making them from 2 castles, and he's probably going to keep doing Conquistador into the Imperial Age as well. And I think the reason for that is because the Portuguese don't get Paladin, like I say, so they can deal with Paladins quite nicely. But unfortunately for Aftermath, they're going to have to amputate. It's too far gone, and they're going to have to sever off the TC of MBL and just let it go, bailing out with as many villages as they can. It's certainly not a good position for Aftermath right now. As MBL does, however, reach the Imperial Age, he needs to get upgrades, though, and he needs to be able to hold on a little longer.
Ooh, interesting little Easter egg that I just noticed. Hart was dropping a TC. It might have gotten killed by Viper's Cavalier there. Yeah, Hart does look like he just lost all of the wood for that town center. It happens once in a while. You try to drop a TC on that first couple hits of the hammer, and your opponent kills it. Nonetheless, Doubt has gone Arbalest. He and Viper are in the back of MBL's economy, and they're killing another TC from MBL. And MBL is going from bad to worse. He's on 54 Vils, and he's going to lose another 10 or so right now.
Yeah, now MBL has less villagers than Tato, who's still in the feudal age, but is, however, advancing to castle. So this is a great time for Tato to get to the castle age, start working his way up to Imperial as well. Eventually, they will need paladins if this game continues to go on, and that player has to be Tato to produce them. But right now, we've got Camel Archers from Leary, we've got the Imperial Age upgrade in for all 3 of the Aftermath players, and it is 3v2 on this right-hand side. So if they can take a good fight, they do have an opportunity to pull this back and equalize things. But the Tyrants have already moved on. They've already set their sights on greener pastures, and they're moving up towards Lyri right now with those Cavalier.
Yeah, let me throw a couple numbers at you here. It's 180 vills for Tyrant. It's 150 vills for Aftermath. So 30 villager disadvantage for Aftermath. But Doubt's military is what scares me the most. Doubt has 87 military, and that is nearly the entire amount of the whole Aftermath team. Of course, Arbalests in the Imperial Age, they're not exactly the same quality as maybe a group of elite conquistadors, but that's a scary number. 87 military for Doubt.
Yeah, and a big problem that Aftermath have right now is, I think, a lack of siege, to be honest. They don't have any big siege civs in their lineup. That would be really nice for them. But at the same time, you have got the Berbers making camel archers, which pound for pound are much superior to the Arbalest. However, Doubt has already started teching into Chuko Nu. He's making that tech switch. We'll probably start seeing some bombard cannons and Chuko Nu coming out soon. And once the Chuko Nu are fully upgraded, well, it's going to be a real pain to deal with them.
Yeah, Chuko Nu will be a real problem here. It's going to be Camel Archers and Conquistadors and Arbalest for the Aftermath team. It will be Chuko Nu and, Cavalier for now for the Viper. Tato has started to make trade. He started to wall in his team's side with some stone walls. And interestingly, he's added in a couple of outposts in the Aftermath trade area. So he's keeping an eye on when Aftermath is going to start trading.
Very nice spot. That's a really good idea from Tyrant. But on the right side, MBL going to lose another TC here, and a bunch more villagers with it. MBL now down to 23 vills, as another TC is about to go down. Fortunately, MBL still has a little bit of army, so he can contribute to the fight, but his economy is essentially non-existent anymore, and he's going to have to keep trying to rebuild and keep having it taken out by these Viper Cavalier. They're still waiting. The Aftermath team are just waiting. They're biding their time. They're trying to get an army together, and they're looking for a good attack, a good angle of attack. So far, they're not finding it.
Yeah, I think the Viper has done a very nice job. Of course, he's been slung, so he has a massive army, but he's done a nice job to identify, okay, MBL's arbs are not here. They're a slow unit. I'm going to sneak some Cavalier around, and he's been sending Cavalier to kill town centers, and he's going to keep doing it by the looks of it as MBL tries to reboom. MBL on 18 vills. Tato hits the castle age. He is going for handcart. I saw him getting upgrades that would allow him to sling more. I have not seen a military from Tato yet. He's on 0 military still. But he's going to be a bigger factor militarily maybe a little later on as he clicks imp now.
Fight. This could be the fight that determines the game. In the center of the map right now, Viper running in with the Cavalier, and AM look like they want to get back, but that could just be a micro tactic to keep those Cavalier as far away as possible. All 3 of the Aftermath players using ranged units right here. Viper's Cavalier, however, cannot really stand up to this, but they're working as a fantastic meat shield for that 82 military of Doubt.
Yeah, Viper adding in more Cavalier here. He and Doubt are starting to look thinner and thinner. I think that the fight will go for Aftermath, but MBL notably is basically out of the fight. His number of arbs is down to about 10, and he obviously can't reinforce because he doesn't have an economy. So I don't know if Tyrant really gets the better fight here, but maybe as both teams go back to their side, reinforcements will be a little better for Tyrant.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. I mean, if Tyrant had crushed that fight, if they decisively won that would have been the game right there. But Aftermath holding on just a little bit, it's hard to say how they traded overall. I mean, looking at the KDs right now, Aftermath not looking too hot. No player has more kills than deaths. But they didn't get absolutely steamrolled. They didn't get absolutely crushed in that engagement. However, like you say, MBL essentially out of the game at this point, 20 villagers. And we've got Tato, meanwhile, going up to the Imperial Age, researching bloodlines. We are going to see paladins from Tato before long. And it's going to come just in time as Hart will be working on paladin himself. But, meanwhile, Doubt pushing in on the left side as well to Hart's quite unprotected base, actually.
Yeah, that big sexy fight in the middle was very nice, but this follow-up from Doubt is probably even nicer because, frankly, there's no melee units for Aftermath to deal with Doubt's Siege Ram, so Doubt will roll in. He'll get at least one castle and probably a TC to go along with it, and some efficient trades, because now those Conquistadors have to stand and fight, and they don't exactly want to fight versus Chuko Nu in a closed space like this.
No, and they have no way to really deal with this. As you say, no melee units, no way to deal with the Rams, no Paladins for Hart. Now, he did do the Cavalier upgrade, but he doesn't have any stables because they were all taken out by the Rams of Doubt here. This looks like it's about to snowball in for Tyrant, especially as we see Cavalier coming in for Tato right now. As soon as the Aftermath and start to see the Tato Paladins, I think they'll call it. They are going to surround the Army of Doubt, though, and clean that up. But already, you know, Hart losing a lot of ground there and being pushed back quite far.
Yeah, Doubt's going to continue to send in Siege Rams. His group of Chukonu will get cleaned up, but the Viper runs directly into the back here, and he wants to find the trade of Aftermath. The thing is, Aftermath doesn't really have trade. They have 5 carts out. Tyrant on the other side has how many? About 55 carts out, about 50 carts out. So trade for Tyrant is in a very good spot. They will continue to send in units, and they don't necessarily have to get cost-effective fights because it's soon going to be 3 versus 2 since MBL is still trying to reboom on 24 Vils.
Absolutely, and Tyrant had the T-Wall going as well, so they have the protection there from any units trying to run through. Really important when you're dealing with 3 Civs making ranged units, and obviously mobile ranged units. Camel Archers getting into the trade line would do a lot of damage to that fledgling trade. But Viper's sending more and more Cavalier off to that right side of the map. He's continuing to raid MBL, and like we said, MBL is essentially out of the game as Tato has just entered. Player 3 has entered the game right now. We're going to see Tato building stables at the far north of the map to raid with Paladins from the back lines of Aftermath. That's going to completely blindside them. And I think that's going to be the GG, to be honest.
Yeah, Tato has had a villager in the back of the eco building outposts for a while, and now he's busy, as you said, building stables. Good catch, Zach. That's why you're the best, man. Yeah, those couple Paladin from the back area raiding the trade. He's got 6 more stables back at home, and Tato is eventually going to finish the Great Wall of China. He's walling across the entire map with really no structure to help him along the way. But once that wall is done and the Paladin are out, what can you do? You can really just GG, right?
Don't you think it's weird that he's actually using the Persians to wall, though? Because they don't get the fortified wall upgrade, which is kind of a strange choice. But anyway, the big fight on the left side continuing on. Lyri's Camel Archers and Hart's Conquistadors are absolutely mopping up. They are cleaning up Doubt's army, but they can't kill the Rams.
Yeah.
So the Rams they don't care. The Rams can just go in and just, you know, kill all the build things. And, you know, they can clean up the army all day, but they can't kill the goddamn Rams.
That's the beauty of Siege Ram. You can kind of just leave them to their own devices. If your opponent can't punish them with melee units, they are such a tanky unit. In the meantime, that Paladin upgrade is in, and Tato is starting to get all the fixings to go along with that. Still needs Blast Furnace. But those Paladin are going to do a great job. Viper has added in some elite skirms to go along with his group to deal with the Camel Archers. They've got Leary trapped in the back of the trade. Tyrant trade right now is starting to get up there, man. It's about 60 trade units. On the other side of the map, 20. And those 20 are probably getting harassed by Paladin right now.
Absolutely, there they are, coming in at the back lines, into the Hart's wood line, chasing down the trade units, and meanwhile on the left side you've got Doubt doubling down with Bombard Towers, and that's just going to make it impossible, or not impossible, but very difficult for Aftermath to push out. Certainly impossible with the unit composition that they're currently fielding, which has no siege. And there you have it, GG in game number 1. Aftermath gonna call it right there, as they know they just cannot hold on any longer with Tato entering the game and starting to produce Paladins as well.
Yeah, the GG is in. It's well-deserved. Tato, I think, is my MVP in that game. That 3 Militia Drush was so interesting to watch. He did the things that aren't very sexy. He slung. He eventually got up to Castle. He built the huge team wall. But, man, he did it very effectively. The Viper using those Cavalier with all that sling to great effect. And Doubt playing a great game with his Arbs. Really good game all around, Zach. Game number 1 goes to the Tyrant. Are you surprised?
Yes, actually, a little. I mean, to be honest, I did say before this series started, I absolutely expect the Tyrants to bring their A game today. They usually really shine when there's a lot of pressure, and this is the most pressuring game that they've had to play so far. So they put their best foot forward. They take game number 1. That's certainly going to do them good for their sort of mental state, to say the least. And Aftermath are going to be sort of stepping back and thinking, well, we've been practically unbeaten this whole tournament. what just happened? What went wrong? What are we gonna do? And what are we gonna change in game two?
Yeah, continuous haymakers there from Tyrant. They were interested in 2v1ing and kind of 3v1ing in the feudal age since Tato had those militia. They were hitting Leary first, 3v1, and then they were hitting MBL 2v1. They kind of left Hart alone to boom up and build conks, and Hart really couldn't end up punishing them enough. So some pretty good team play from Tyrant. They grabbed game one. We will see a couple of these civs come off the board, so it's probably important to note what's left. Game two is Donut, right, Zach?
Just real quick, MVP of the game, Doubt. He didn't take a sling. He had the most units killed, the most buildings raised, and the largest army without sling. He had a very big economy. He had the most castles. He was doing the most damage, and he deserves the MVP for that one, in my opinion.
If Doubt is on today, I think Tyrant is kind of unstoppable. I mean, man,
Absolutely.
that guy has so much experience. When he plays at the top of his game, it's just a ridiculous thing to watch. I've got Donut as map number 2. Is that correct? I believe it's
That
in
is
the game
correct.
room also.
Donut is game number 2.
Okay.
And we're going to see that coming up fairly soon. But there you go. I've marked off the civs which have been used on the civ draft. And, you could argue that the reason why the Aftermath team lost that game was because they had the Vietnamese.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's a good argument to make because MBL did get doubled. And the grander strategy was the sling, which I think is the reason why MBL died, not because he was the Vietnamese.
Yeah, MBL did have a lot of trouble holding up on that side versus the Viper. He was at first disregarded as they hit Leary, and then it just became an absolute pile-on with Cavalier in his economy killing his town centers. But on the bright side for Aftermath, they used their very worst civ, Vietnamese, already. And we'll see game number 2 on Donut. Donut is the map that you and I saw in the pregame, so of course people who are watching that will be excited for it. It's the one where you can only really push in from the flanks. There's a bunch of wood in the center. What civs are you expecting for Donut, Zach?
Well, I think we're going to be seeing the bigger civs, the civs which can add the siege into the mix. And for the Aftermath team, they've got some good options. They have the Ethiopians, they have the Teutons, they have the Celts, they have the Slavs, they even have the Aztecs. They have 4 siege onager civs. They do have 6 siege onager civs on their team. They've got Malians, Mongols, Aztecs, Ethiopians, Celts, and Teutons. That's a lot of siege onagers right there. They even have the option to add elephants with the Burmese. It could be a great time to bring the Burmese out here as well.
That's a very interesting observation. I agree. When you do look at the at the number of civs that Aftermath has that can go into some crazy siege, they really might have a really good turnaround on this second map. I think that we will see Saracens from Tyrant. I've seen them used to very good effect on this map. I'm not exactly sure. They certainly won't use Britons because Britons you want to save for beach fight. I don't think using civs that are quick and able to get across the map are so good. So maybe not Magyars or something like that. Be interesting to see.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I've just got to say, looking at the civ draft, I just feel like Aftermath have so many more civs. I know they've got the same number of civs, but it just feels like Aftermath have so many more right now. I mean, in this game, Saracens, Turks, and Italians, perhaps, maybe. Actually, no. Malay or Khmer have to be a pick here.
Yeah, I agree.
For the elephants, they have to pick one of those, I feel. But yeah, I've got to say, the Aftermath civs just feel so much beefier and well prepared for this game, too.
We'll see what game number 2 brings us. Aftermath certainly would like to turn around the momentum. Each team has 1 re left, so we could see a re before 4 minutes if something terrible happens to one of the teams. Obviously, teams don't want to use their re's yet, but keep that in mind. Yeah, I think you're right about the Khmer for Tyrant. I do think that... I think I kind of agree with you. Like, when I look in my mind about what are the sexiest civs in the game right now for team game, I'm seeing a lot more of those on the Aftermath side of the board. But I suppose it's all going to be situational. Team bonuses and things like this are something we need to consider. And Tyrant might have something good cooked up for us. We'll see. For now, the next game is launched for the players, but Spec Delay has still 1 minute 50 seconds left. So be ready, guys. It's coming soon.
That's right. And that's in-game time. So it's more like a single minute left here before we go into game 2. I'm really excited for this one. Donut is one of my favorite maps in this pack, as it's the one that really does lead to the late game engagements. And I don't know if you remember the games from last week, Tyrant versus Finland. We had an incredible game on Donut, maybe one of the best games of the tournament, where we saw Elite Teutonic Knights, we saw Aztec Monks, we saw Battle Elephants, we saw Arenbite, we saw the works. And it was great to see those different unit compositions coming into play and the dynamic that they have. So let's see, real quick, before we go into this game, thank you Riftcraft for the resub, thank you Elvanor for the resub, Whiskey Yankee, and Sergeant Peppers as well. Welcome to you, and welcome to the nightclub, guys. Game 2.
Game number 2 is coming our way. Let's see if I can do it without a crash here. Here we go.
Fingers crossed for you.
Oh, yeah. We are in.
Baby.
Game number 2, Battle of Africa final. Do not adjust your TV set. Tyrant is up 1-0. The map will be Donut. It will be Leary, MBL, and Hart taking on Tato, Viper, and Jordan. Do you see the name Jordan, Zach?
I do. Many surprises going into this game too. Certainly one of them being Jordan 23 in the active roster, in the lineup right now for Tyrant. Many people have criticized Jordan, I think unfairly, saying that he is the weaker player of the group. They've swapped out Doubt to put Jordan in for game number 2 here.
It's a very interesting decision in Game 2. We'll see if the game goes on. We do have a brief pause already, so players may be thinking about the situation. Here we go. Looks like we've unpaused, and life is good. Jordan will be in the pocket as Saracens. We will see the Viper on the bottom flank of the map playing as the Malay. And on the top of the map, we'll see the red player Tato, who is going to be playing as the Vikings. So the Tyrant team kind of using some of their later drafted civs here to get the things going on Donut.
Well, I mean, they actually picked Viking in the first row of civs, which was very surprising to me, and I'm even more surprised to see that they're using Vikings here. This could be a sling strat, but they've got the issue that obviously Tato is on the flank here, in which case slinging on the flank is a little bit more dangerous. You will need your pocket player to come and support you. But slinging the Saracens, slinging the Malay, both really good sling receivers, and we will see if that's in the playbook for the Tyrants here. I certainly think it's an indicator of that with the Viking pickup on this map.
Couple of lamed sheep already for the green player Leary. He's trying to steal those, I do believe, from the Vipers Town Center. Jordan is here with his scout to maybe try to fight back on the lame. But you know who else is here? The master lamer himself, MBL. So we'll keep an eye on that. What do you make of the Aftermath civs here, Zach? We do see the Celts from MBL.
You do know what MBL stands for, right?
No, what is it?
Master Boar Lamer.
Ooh, yeah, indeed. He is.
It's nothing to do with his name, you know. It's all about the boar. But this Scout Scuffle is going quite well for the Tyrant so far. No, maybe not. The Eagle Scout there looking pretty healthy still, so they should have focused that down if they wanted to win that. Looks like they will get these sheep back toward the TC of Viper though. But yes, MBL taking the Celts. He's in the pocket for Aftermath. On the south flank, Leary's in the green playing as the Aztecs. And on the north flank, in the blue, it's Hart playing as the Teutons. I mean, Aftermath coming out in game 2 with the biggest, heaviest hitters they could possibly field. They have 3 Siege Onager civs in one game. They've got Aztec Monks. They've got Teuton Paladins and Teutonic Knights if they want to use them. They've got Celt Woad Raiders for the speed, and they've got the Celt Faster Firing Siege to lock down those choke points on the flanks as well. What a lineup for Aftermath. I mean, they've got to take this to the late game, though.
It's interesting that Tyrant will use all 4 of its players. That is maybe an advantage in some senses, because it is a bit of a long slog here. If we go to 7 games, this could be 5-6 hours of gameplay or of of real life time. So it is a lot of work. And, you know, Doubt, like myself, we're both getting closer and closer to the nursing home. So maybe a little breather. No, I'm just kidding. Doubt's like 31. But 2 things of interest, Zach. The blue player Hart lured in his Rhino with his Scout, which is basically defense, I believe, against laming from Tato. So he'll lose a lot of HP there.
Well, he actually lamed it, I think.
Oh, he stole that from Tato.
He stole it.
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
He stole it.
Okay.
He's got another 2 Rhino as well, so he's going to have a total of 3. meaning that he actually took one from Tato there on that north side. Unfortunate for Tato, but that's just the way the news goes.
The other that's the news. The other cool thing to note, Manu here is a fan in my chat of Doubt, and he said that Doubt was telling his channel that he never wants to play this map again. He doesn't like it, things like this. And interestingly, that's a bit of foreshadowing because we do see Jordan take a note for him.
Yeah, that's so true. And we'll see what Jordan can do. I think he's going to receive a sling here, to be honest, as the Saracens. Speaking of siege onagers, they do have some great siege from the Saracen player. They also have the siege onager of the sorry, wait, that's the Malay, not the Malians. So never mind. The Malay, however, do get heresy, which is quite an important tech for that elephant civ to use, especially versus the Aztecs here on the flank. We'll see how that develops because, hey, we might not even get to the late game. Right now, we've got drush action on the south side of the map.
Yeah, as often is the case on maps that are really closed, you can get a couple of militia out early and at least buy some time to wall your map in. If you can find a way to get your scout and your militia onto your opponent's map, you can at least harass and be annoying and get a minor advantage. Right now it is the Viper who's on the back foot. There's the 4th militia coming from Leary. As the Aztecs, of course, you can afford 5 militia pretty easily with the free loom upgrade. Viper is still walling in, but he's not getting it done in time, and Leary is already here.
With 5 militia as well, so he's going all out into this drush. He's going to prevent Viper from completely closing off the right side, and looking to set his sights onto some villagers as well. He's going to try and surround these militia. He'll win that fight easily. Oh, nice play from MBL, blocking with the scout as well, the 2 HP scout, but going to still get good damage done with it. I also saw Viper losing his own scout earlier on, which was a little bit of a setback as well. For those asking in my stream, yes, I decided to keep the big trees on. I know it reduces visibility, but it looks pretty. And to be honest with you, we're spectating the game, and I want it to look nice as well.
It always looks nice when you're doing it, Zach. Barry's being harassed now from the Viper. Viper is going to lose some eco time to this 5 militia drush. As long as Leary can keep that away from the TC, I think he is going to get his value out of this, don't you?
Oh, well, I mean, at the moment, I think you have to kill a villager to make it really worthwhile. But if you can continue to do enough harassment, then yeah, maybe. Obviously, the reaction from Viper has also been to build 5 militia as well. So if he can actually kill all the militia of Viper, then, I mean, yeah, it's all good. At the moment, in fact, take that back. He doesn't need to kill a villager because Viper's reacted with 5 militia. So it's all good right now. He's already got the value out of this drush, if you ask me.
Both Tyrant players have built a dock, which is kind of an interesting to note, and Viper has actually built 2 docks on his side of the map, which seems like a pretty big early investment. Hart is coming with a tower push to try to make Tato uncomfortable, and that tower is going to go up, and Tato here is going to be quite uncomfortable as he's still in the Dark Age. Tato clicking feudal at 1140 with 28 vills, so he's really waiting for maybe a quicker castle time.
Well, I like this from Hart, actually. He's following up with men-at-arms, so he's going to pressure Tato into reacting, or force Jordan 23 to react. At the moment, Tato, I mean, a fast castle seems odd. It looks to me like it's more likely to be an attempted sling, but he won't be able to do it if he can't wall himself off. So this is a problem. He's not prepared for this aggression, and he will be forced to react. He's going to move over to stone, and it looks like some defensive towers will be coming up for Tato fairly soon.
Yeah, this seems like a very nice play from Hart as he pushes through the dock. Players using docks to plug up those holes in their wall on the water. Viper with 3 docks down to keep his side pretty much closed, or totally closed. But Tato has been permeated now, and he is going back a bit. He will see a couple of scouts from MBL, a couple of men-at-arms from Hart, and 5 villagers towering up for the Teutons player.
Yeah, I like this from Hart. I mean, he's kind of recognized that the Viking player is going to be relegated to a sling, and he's just going to lay down the pressure and stop that sling from happening. Because let's be honest, game number 1, the reason they lost that game so hard was because of the sling. He's also got the support of MBL here, so this is a coordinated attack. This is team play that we're seeing right now, as MBL will send the scouts in to harass the villagers at the back on the berries, or even find their way through to the pocket player and do damage there as well. So this is forcing the Tyrants to have to adapt from their initial game plan, and that's not good. You don't want to have to adapt on the fly if you can help it, especially because your opponents are forcing you to do something you didn't really want to do in the first place. Like bullying.
Yeah, the Viper here is
Give me your
actually
lunch money.
the Viper is actually getting his last couple militia cleaned up that he had to build to fight the green player. He gets a little bit of damage in on MBL scouts, but MBL has 4 scouts now in the back of Jordan's base. So we'll see. For now, Tato is rushing down that first tower from Hart. Very nice play from Tato to take advantage of those scouts. Those scouts roamed around a little bit. The tower was not walled in, and he's able to build another counter tower. And Tato might win this tower war here.
He's got a lot of villagers on that. He's got to win it. And obviously, MBL sent his scouts away, so that should work out well for Tato. He has to get that gold back at the end of the day. And right now, he's killed off the man-at-arms from Hart, and he's killing some vills as well. So it seems like it's going quite well for Tato over here, as at the moment, he's dropping down a blacksmith. Interesting. Maybe he's thinking about fletching here, but certainly can't be thinking about the Castle Age already, as he doesn't have any gold income at the moment.
Jordan does hit the Castle Age. We see 1 stable camels for Jordan and 3 TCs behind it. Leary hits the Castle Age, and we see a monastery siege workshop and a second town center. So Leary looks like he's going to maybe get a little bit interesting here with the monastery siege workshop. Hart's push is over, and Hart has sent those villagers back home, and he's trying to quickly wall himself in. So Hart's little bit of aggression there really fell apart without the scouts from MBL.
I agree, and obviously they couldn't do anything either at the back of Jordan's base because Jordan was castled with the camels already. And so, I mean, they have been able to do a little bit of damage. They've killed maybe 1 or 2 vills. And obviously they killed the 3 militia from Viper, so that's 3 of his 5 kills accounted for. MBL, I mean, he is in the pocket. His Castle Age is going to be much later than Jordan's because of these scouts. And we'll have to see now if Jordan can make up for this, or sorry, so take advantage, I should say, of this faster castle time here. Certainly will get the second TC up faster, but can they use it to do some military aggression? Can they do some damage? Or will they just try and boom it up to the Imperial Age here?
Very interesting match on our hands. The siege is starting to roll out, and so are the monks for Leary. He is going to be squaring off against the Viper. Maybe those are the 2 best players in the game right now. I don't know. It's up to your opinion, I suppose. Viper has hit the Castle Age. He's adding in more town centers. 3 TCs for him. So he may not totally be ready for this push. Viper will get 1 galley out. Maybe he can snipe a monk here with it, but let's see. Looks like Leary will get a
converted.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has to delete it. Otherwise, it's just going to get converted. Now, a demolition raft would be a good idea.
Seems
he is
appropriate.
making 1, so I think that's a good shout for Viper. But a galley, that's questionable.
Yeah, if Leary keeps his units spread out, Demo Raft is going to have a little bit of trouble because, of course, the Mangonel and Monk push. Monks will be healing each other up, but let's see. For now, it's the first one is garrisoned. The blue player is... Go ahead.
Perfect.
Oh, he got it.
Kill.
Oh, he got it.
That's going to just stop Leary in his tracks. That's huge.
Wow, I did not even see the moment it happened, but a beautiful double Mangonel Demo Raft. Talk about getting value for the Viper. Leary's going back. He's adding in another monastery at home, and more monks are coming from the green player. He's going to have trouble breaking his way through Demo Rafts on that side.
Yeah, and I think that might even be the reason why Viper used 3 docks as well. I mean, I don't know if it was necessary to make 3 docks to wall this. This one on the front certainly seems like an intentional 3rd dock. So I think this is part of Viper's game plan, as, you know, he's able to do that last-minute defense with the demo rafts. It's perfect. And he's probably anticipating some early Castle Age aggression from the Aztec player. This now gives Viper an opportunity to get ahead economically because he already has 3 TCs. And he's not invested resources into 2 monasteries and a siege workshop and 2 mangonels. So he's able to boom off the back of this defense.
But here comes Tato. He's going to try to convert those. He will get demoed on 1 monk, but he's going to try to convert those docks.
Yeah, that's going to stop the production. That's one way to do it. And if you're Leary, I mean, let's be honest, you want those upgrades anyway for the health that you get from them. Viper actually gonna get his docks converted now. Leary doesn't even have to break through a wall. He could just delete the dock and he's in.
Yeah, and the Viper did delete one of his docks by the looks of it. Leary here is still converting the second one.
Can he get it before the demo raft? Yes, he can. Oh, it was so close. 98% I think on the demo raft. And well, Leary's going to convert and delete. And now he's in. So there you go. Leary able to use those monks as they were intended, I suppose.
The way God intended for religious monks to be used. Viper heavily on stone, maybe going to think about a castle. He's dropping that now. That will fortify his position against the monk and siege push a bit, but Leary's just happy to grab a relic and go home.
He's just robbing Viper. Like,
Yeah.
this is a robbery, you know. Just open up a hole in his wall, come steal his. First he steals your dock, then he steals your relic. Come on, stealing a villager as well. I mean, Leary gets all the girls. Look at this.
Indeed, he is in good shape there. Tato is still trying to wall in his side against Hart. Hart has built a couple demo rafts, so we'll see if Hart can get in a big demo shot as well. Hart with some siege out still, trying to be aggressive. MBL, after those scouts, has not done much with the scouts, but he's boomed up back at home. He's on 62 vills, and he's going imp. So MBL will be imp first by the looks of it, and we will see if he can make his impact on this game. Last game he got doubled and triple teamed. This game he's back to give it another go.
I like that. Impact. That's a great word choice for the Imperial Age coming in. As you're right, I mean, MBL will be in a great position now. The question is, which side will he choose? He has got the option. Hart's going to break through the wall on the right side. Leary's already in on the left. Do they want to double Tato or do they want to double Viper? The ball is in Aftermath's court right now. They get to choose. They have that freedom of choice. They have that option to call the shots, and maybe I think that they're more likely to go for Tato because Tato doesn't have a castle to defend. He does, however, have some longships. You don't see that very often.
Yeah, it's interesting. MBL showing us where he might cut through the wood line. He's dropped a siege workshop and he X'd that wood line right between the red and blue players, saying that if I can go through here and then he X'd the middle of the economy, I can get to there. So we may see a little cut from him to get in. He won't really need a cut because, of course, Hart is pushing on the other side with monks and siege. But as you said,
Outside,
Tato's longboats.
we got Karambits.
Oh.
And they're all converted. That's quite crazy, actually. That was some good micro there from Leary. And honestly, I mean, with these monks having 55 health, Karambits, maybe not the best unit choice to deal with them. They don't receive any bonus damage versus monks, unlike scouts or eagle warriors.
Interestingly, yeah, that's a good point. Interestingly, Viper got one monk, I think, in that engagement, and you can see that there were several Karambit converted. Viper trying to take a little wind out of the sails of that push of Leary and buy himself some time, but for now, Leary continues to have a little momentum there. Longboats from Tato is an extremely interesting choice, but the 8 range is kind of nice for him. Mangonels with 7 range.
Yeah, and it's enough to push him back, not only to 8 range, but the 7 base attack as well. Demo Raft, though, is going to hit and take one down, but it's enough for now for Tato to hold on, it seems. But we do have the push from MBL starting, and the Onager upgrade is complete. He's going to start pushing through, and there you go, immediately cutting through the woods here, finding a way through into the underbelly of Tato's unprotected economy. We'll see what he follows up with. It looks like it's going to be the classic Celtic siege and Halb combo as he starts the pikeman production already. But yeah, on this left side, Viper with more Karambits, and I've got to say, Karambits are insanely good. They didn't put up a good fight just then, but their strength is purely in numbers, in sheer numbers. They produce so quickly. They produce faster than the Goths.
Indeed, they come out quickly. Leary will get a couple of really nice mangonel shots to thin the herd a bit. Monk's grabbing several conversions as we expect, but the Viper will kill the siege and he will protect his newest castle. So the Viper will lose some units in this engagement, but he will grab a couple more monks, and most importantly, he gets that second castle up. While all of this has been happening, Zach, Jordan has just been booming. He's on 120 vills. He's on the way to imp. Jordan is kind of the big man on campus economically here, and he's going to have to help Tato very soon.
Absolutely, he's going to have to go one side or the other, and he could go both, I guess, if he goes for Siege Onagers. We see a Siege Workshop coming up in the south, but we also see some Mameluke coming out too. But yeah, Viper not able to break the line here with these Karambits. The castle from Leary goes up, and he even manages to convert about 8 Karambits and keep them alive as well. Quite good stuff from Leary there, showing us how to use those monks, and I'll be very interested to see Leary's conversion stats at the end of the game. But look at those longboats in the north at Killer B. Do you see that?
Yeah, Tato is sneaking those longboats all the way around, trying to find some use for them. A little bit of an expensive investment. He's got about 10. And now that he's finished Heart off for now and stonewalled his side, he's going to go and see what he can find with that group. However, it is a double castle drop and onager in for MBL. He's got a couple pikemen to go along with this, so Jordan can't just run in and snipe this army easily. You know, Tado's under some pressure here. He still has his main gold, which is pretty nice for him. Still has a good Vil count, but he's going to need Jordan's help, and it looks like Jordan's going to go Mameluke here.
Yeah, and obviously his longboats are no good to him in the center of the map. They only have limited range around the edge. They are going to find the docks of MBL in the back, but MBL is trying to wall that off to stop them going through while he continues his push into Tato's base. But guard tower from Tato, you don't see that every day, but it makes sense. He's actually denying the second castle from MBL there, and MBL is just working on well, the TC on the left side and getting some trebs out to deal with these guard towers all in good time.
Very interesting observation. Yeah, the guard tower upgrade helps Tato's position stay afloat a bit longer. Mamelukes will run in from the south. They'll snipe a couple of these onagers. The pikes from MBL will help clean this up.
Repairs! Oh.
But this certainly slows down MBL's push. He does have one treb, but those onagers were quite important to him harassing Tato.
Yeah, he just lost all three, and he will probably end up getting... I got a feeling he's going to get that castle up, but where's Tato going with those Vils? Must be the gather point from the guard tower, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I thought he was going for like a gate to try to block in the builders of that castle. Yeah. But Tato blundering 5 villagers away. We'll see if that becomes a meaningful problem later in the game. In the meantime, Jordan continues to build siege workshops on the Viper side of the map. He's going capped ram. Leary has lost a little bit of momentum, and his castle's in trouble here.
Yeah, I guess actually making siege onagers against the Aztecs is risky because they just get converted. So unless you have heresy, of course. So yeah, I think Ram's probably a good choice, actually, and maybe his only option. But that's a lot of karambits from Viper. They are upgraded to Elite. He's just about to complete +4 defense. Can he break through these monks, though? They have 65 HP. You know, the karambits only do 9 damage. But it might be enough. It might just be enough over here, as Viper's reinforcing them so quickly and overwhelming Leary. Right there, once that castle's gone down, the floodgates have opened, and those karambits are showing us what they're made of right here.
The monks there are so expensive to lose, but 3 trebs as well, and a castle being lost from Leary, and he's actually kind of lost control of his own production. He was building barracks on the Viper's Island, and he built a siege workshop there. That's going to be hard for him to utilize because it will be cut off from his base, which is being raided now. Karambits have broken in, trebs are packed up and firing away.
Yeah, we've got two-handed swordsmen coming in, and two-handed swordsmen do not beat melee karambits. When you know, have twice the number of karambits than your opponent can have swordsmen, it just doesn't work. Karambits are so good. I was doing some research on them recently in the scenario editor, actually, and I wanted to make a video about just how insane this unit actually is. It's easy to dismiss them when you look at the stats, but when you look at the move rate, the build time, and the cost, they're insane.
Yeah, and Leary's economy is titanicking. He's going to drop 2 castles in the back of his eco to try to keep hope alive. But man, he is in some trouble. Down to 70 vills already, and most of those 70 villagers are power building a couple castles. Actually, 1 castle from MBL. MBL is still trying to push on Tato's side, but it looks like that push has lost all of the momentum that it had. So this is a really bad spot right now for Aftermath.
Yeah, Viper killing twice as many units than he's lost, and even on the right side of the map, that momentum, that MBL push has been shut down. The trebs from Jordan there, taking out the castle, and Aftermath here are going to be pushed back there as well. It's not looking too good for Aftermath right now, as Viper continues making more and more and more Karambit warriors. He has got 95 of the things. And you just, that's momentum right there. That is what you call momentum.
Indeed, I mean, if it's working a little bit, keep pushing on the gas pedal. The Viper here is totally pushing on the gas. He's got a bunch of Karambit in the middle of Leary's eco. Leary's been knocked down to 52 villagers, so he is going to have a lot of trouble replacing the army that he had. Has no wood, has no food in the bank, just has a little bit of gold and stone. His teammate is coming over with Cavalier, Paladin coming for Heart, but Heart is going to have to engage now with the Cavalier, and the two-handed swords from Leary are not quite cutting the mustard. So the Viper here causing some serious problems on this side.
Oh, and he's found a way through the wood line as well into the economy of MBL. He goes, more villagers will be slain at the hand of the Viper right here. And, he's got a positive KD. And that's impressive considering the Karambits are so cheap. They are disposable, You can afford to just spam them and lose them. It's okay if you don't kill as much as you lose with Karambit warriors, but not only are they killing more than they've lost, they're doing it so well, just hurting the Aftermath economy and really hurting Illyri more than anything as well in the south. So Illyri's going to have a hard time now.
Yeah, MBL has had 40 to 50 idols for the last couple of seconds here since he's being raided by Karambit. Of course, that gives a huge hiccup to his economy, especially his food right now is really hurting. He's trying to make woads, he's trying to make onager, but if he loses a little bit of momentum on his building ability and his population drops, then of course Lyri's position becomes even more precarious. Jordan's been really quiet for a moment, Zach, but he's pushing in on Heart's side of the map with Trebs and Siege Ram now and a bunch of Elite Mameluke.
Yep, and all three of the Aftermath players are in the south at the moment, just trying to stop this push from Tyrant, but nobody is addressing the elephant in the room. It's not literally an elephant, it's Mameluke. How is he going to deal with Mameluke up on the north side? With Paladins, you're not going to be able to hold the line versus that. Obviously, you've got some onagers coming out from MBL, but no siege onager yet, and that's a lot of Mameluke to deal with. It's going to be really tough for them to hold up there. Heart might need some help, but how is that help going to come? What form is that help going to take?
Tyrant is looking very, very nice here. Of course, the Viper is kind of going back. He's building up elephants now. He's got Elite Battle Elephant. He wants to hold the line versus all three of his opponent's armies. Tado's got a bunch of longboats there as well, so they're basically holding on for winter. In the meantime, Jordan is going to make headway into Heart's base. He's running toward the trade. A heavy demo ship, or a demo ship here from MBL, could really turn the tide. That will kill a couple of Mamelukes in the north, but Jordan will continue raiding here, and that's a real problem for Aftermath.
Yeah, Jordan's working his way around the back, killing that fledgling trade from the Aftermath team. Speaking of trade, Tyrants already have 30 to 40 trade carts already, and there's only 11 out for Aftermath right now. So Tyrant are going to have that gold to fall back on as well, and they're going to be able to keep producing these gold heavy units. The Elite Battle Elephant for Viper, they might be the weakest Elite Battle Elephants in the game, obviously compared to the Khmer, the Burmese, but well, I was going to continue that thought, but I don't need to. GG's being called.
Yeah, that was a really interesting game. I think we were both thinking, all right, Aftermath's got a little momentum. Lyri's on Viper's Island. He's annoying him. He's got monks and siege. MBL's cut through the wood line. He's annoying Tado. But a little bit of judo from the Tyrant boys, and they flipped the script in about 5 minutes of game time. It went from, oh, is this going to work for Aftermath, to can Aftermath survive?
Yeah. MVP to Viper there. What a player in the south of the map. Holding, stalling, keeping Illyri at arm's length just for long enough to get those Karambits out, making that tech switch into Battle Elephants at the end as well. And I was just going to say about the elephants that they might be the weakest elephants in the game, but they are still a great use of population space. They're very population effective units. And obviously they're a little cheaper as well for the melee. But yeah, great play from Tyrant there. They really looked like they were in a bit of a worrying position with MBL pushing through at the top, the pressure from Heart at the top, Illyri's pushing the south, and then all of a sudden they all just came out of nowhere and immediately turned it on its head and flipped the script, as you quite rightly said.
I think I agree with you with the wording. It is Viper as the MVP because he did something that's really nice there. He switched from Karambit and I'm making a push to identifying that, okay, they're trying to break me on this side. They are coming to rescue Lyri with 3 armies. And he and Tado both realized that, and they started building units that aren't so good for a push anymore, but just for holding that straight. And while they held that straight, Jordan, of course, could make headway because Hart was away from his own base. So a very nice game there from the boys in Tyrant. They'll go up 2-0. Are you surprised, Zach?
You asked me this last time.
I'm going to ask you.
Are you surprised that you're going to be like, Because your prediction was that Tyrant would win this 4-2, right?
4-3.
So every
Yep.
time Tyrant win, you're gonna be like, "Are you surprised?"
But are you surprised? I mean, I did not think
Um,
Tyrant would go 2-0. And I didn't think Jordan would come in off of the bench and give his team a pretty solid win in game 2.
Well, I think looking at the civs, you have to favor the Aftermath civs in the late game. But Tyrant did a good job not to let the Aftermath team get to that stage of the game. They pushed in on both sides as fast as they could, as soon as they were able to, and prevented that big stalemate from ever forming in the first place and allowing Aftermath to get Siege Onager out. I don't think MBL ever got the upgrade even. We only just saw Hart completing Paladin at the end of that game there. And by that time, they'd already gone in and gutted out Lyri's economy once. So I think they did a good job, and I think they deserve game number 2 the way they played it. But it's certainly going to be a bit of a shock, maybe not a bit of a shock to Aftermath, but they're certainly going to be a little concerned now, I think, because they obviously 3-0'd Tyrant last time they met, and they're already 2-0 down here in the second rematch, or in the rematch.
Very excited for game number 3. I'm going to go on mute just for a second, my friend, and I'll be back in about 1 minute. All right, we'll kill the mic and the speaker. Hopefully we're not bothering Zach's channel. I just wanted to stop and say thank you to Hugo. Hugo, KKO, thank you very much for the resub. And big thanks to Ali gifting a sub to Antino. We also had Mike Lee earlier with a donation. I appreciate the subs and donations and the follows today, guys. It really does help put a little wind in the sail of this little pirate ship we got going. I hope you're enjoying the presentation. You can hear my voice is struggling a little bit, so big ups to Zach, who's going to be carrying me through some, some of these games. I'm going to take a minute to drink a little water here, but I did want to show you the Civ pool a bit, and just to say thanks to everybody. Sorry I'm not able to keep super... I am keeping an eye on the chat, and I'm stealing all of your good ideas and interesting thoughts. But sorry, I can't really keep a dialogue with you guys because, of course, it's very, very different. Hugo go. Obviously, it's hard to keep a dialogue when you have a co-caster. But hey, Zach and I will keep rolling here in game number 3. Let me put a second point up for Tyrant, and I'll just take a drink here for a moment and maybe sit here a little quietly, trying to collect myself. Excuse me, I did also want to say, while I drink into the mic, big ups to Mem. As you can see, I put the banner up here for the Battle of Africa. Sponsored by PGI, obviously being played on Voobly. Mem TV is the main sponsor of it, I suppose, or the main organizer. And I think Swiss Boy is doing a lot of work there as well. So big ups to the organizers of this tournament. It's been an incredibly interesting group, stage, elimination stage. The whole thing, soup to nuts, has been really, really nice. And the interactions on these maps that have been forced by basically making really great maps has made an incredibly good time for all of us. I'll unmute and I'll say thanks to Don for saying I'm great. Let's bring Zach back in.
Top row Civ picks here for this match. Expect to see the Aftermath team taking Civs out of that top row. Expect to see the Tyrants taking Civs out of this top row. Obviously, Britons and Mayans we're expecting to see a little later on. But I think we'll see Indians and Huns here for Arabia.
Hey, Zach, I'm back.
Hey, hey.
Hey, man. Yeah, I think you saved Britons, of course, for Tyrant for Game 4 on Beach Fight. But yeah, Magyars, Indians, really strong civs on Arabia. Arabia is kind of the bread and butter for both of these teams. It's kind of the bread and butter for most Age of Empires player on Voobly. Many. I guess you could argue for some other maps. But these guys are going to come at it 3v3. Aftermath has typically been a little better than Tyrant in their practice games on Arabia. But I guess we're going to find out who's better right now as the game launches.
We are indeed. I just need to quickly pause my music, and we are in. Welcome, everybody, to game number 3, Battle of Africa Grand Final between Tyrant and Aftermath, as we go in now to our third match. And Killer B, do you want to go ahead and introduce these players of these civs and tell us what we're seeing right here?
Yeah, man, absolutely. It is Battle of Africa. It is the grand final, best of 7. Tyrant up 2-0, each team with one rematch left. We're going to see Leary, MBL, and Hart, as we've seen all day on that team. On the other side, we will see Doubt coming back off the bench to take over for Jordan, who is involved in game number 2. So it will be Doubt, the Viper, and Tato here. Incas, Burmese, and Malians for the Aftermath team. It will be an Inca flank for the green player, pocket Burmese for MBL, and a flank on the other side of Malians. And I like that. Civ organization, Zach. What do you see on the Tyrant side?
Yeah, going across from from Hart on the east of the map in the red, it's Tato playing as the Italians. I did suggest maybe the Italians here. It looks like we will see that pick, and I think we'll talk about that a bit more in a minute. Pocket Viper in the yellow playing as the Mayans here. Ideal place to get the Mayans. You don't want them on the flank if you can help it. Pocket, very tasty. And on the south of the map in the hot pink, wearing his hot pants, it's Doubt playing as the Huns, a very expected pick here for the Tyrant team. But I'm a little surprised by the civs overall. I feel like Aftermath have gone for 3 very strong civs, actually, but they didn't take so many out of their top row. Incas and Burmese were not priority picks for the Aftermath team.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, Malians were their top pick, but the Burmese and Incas were a little further down the map. You could have gone with Slavs here, but you could have gone with Franks here, but I guess they've decided to go with the Malians and the Burmese, so we'll see how it shapes up. I like that MBL is in the pocket, Zach. I think he's the best booming player on his team. Doesn't look like he's booming right off with 3 villagers on wood. Lately on Arabia, we've seen a lot of intense early game play from pockets, so we'll see if that turns out to be the case here.
Well, I think that Aftermath want to win this game before it gets too late. I think they... Oh, we got a re.
Viper calling re there. I don't think he liked the... I wonder if he didn't like the Mayans pocket situation. But...
Interesting. Yeah.
I didn't see any major laming going on, but no, re was called.
It could be Doubt's map. Tato's map in the north. It's really bad. His elephant's on the other side of the wood line. His gold's really exposed. His stone's really exposed. It could just be a distaste for map. I mean, Leary did not steal the elephant on the left side, though he was hanging around. He didn't actually do it. And as far as I can tell, Tyrant didn't lose any villagers either, whereas Hart actually lost a villager in this one so far. So a little bit of an interesting re, but it has been called, and we'll try again in just a moment.
Very interesting to see the re there. Tyrant, of course, needs to win 2 more games to win the series. So if they feel their civ arrangement is bad and they feel like they're spending some of their better civs, and they're, you know, you kind of have to say, like, we've invested in winning this game. We're going to use up some of our best civs. They're not going to be there if we go to game 7. So let's burn a re and let's try again. Let's see how it goes. Game 3 will come at us again on Arabia. Players are relaunching now.
Yep, and that's their second restart, so that's it now. Tyrant out of restarts already by the time we've reached game 3. I think that's okay. It's not the end of the world. They obviously want to get or sort of negate any bad things as early as possible. I think I'd rather use my restarts early in a series and secure myself a better chance of winning earlier on than waiting until maybe it's the match point and using it. Seems to make sense to me, at least. But yeah, game will be restarted, and we'll get this show on the road in just a minute. Thanks for your patience, everyone. For those of you wondering, by the way, since this is a best of 7, what do we do about civilizations after 5 games have been played? Since obviously after 5 games, all 30 civs will have been used. The answer is that they will be picking 15 civs with a new draft after game 5.
All right. That's good information. Yeah. And I've also got some good information for you. I got a spy who's out there looking at the Age of Empires Twitchosphere, and I'm getting a report in that we have approximately 8,200 viewers watching our beautiful game right now if you combine all streams. That's awesome, isn't it?
That's incredible. That's very cool. And that gives me so much hope for the future of this game. Like, the upcoming tournament that Escape Gaming is going to be hosting, I see us easily breaking 10K.
All right. And then the next one, we go for 12. And then the next event, we go for
A
14.
million viewers. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, that's a bit
Slow and
ambitious, maybe.
steady. Slow and steady.
Yeah, zero to hero.
Maybe we should take a moment to tell people out there, if you have friends who are cool and have good brains, you should introduce them to Age of Empires 2 because it's still here and cooking, as you all know. But go out and recruit your friends. This game is awesome. It's still alive and thriving, and it's I don't know. For me, it's the new chess. So I'm really pumped that it's still in full bloom. We were worried a few years ago. People casting games were like, I don't know, is it gonna fall down to a point where not so many people are playing and no one's interested? But it's building. It's getting bigger.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's certainly going to go up, I think, or at least I hope, as we have Definitive Edition around the corner, Age of Empires 4 in development, the franchise Age of Empires as a whole getting a lot of eyes on it right now, and certainly a lot of new eyes when those new titles drop as well later in the next, well, I don't know, next years. I have no idea when they're going to be. But let's go into Game 3, Killer B. Round 2, Game 3, fight.
It's on, baby. We did see a rematch there quickly from the Tyrant team, so they do not have any rees left. Aftermath has one re left. It is Arabia. It's maybe the match that many of you have all been waiting for. This is kind of the standard map that players have been playing for so many years. There are a couple of twists, elephants and goats, and a little bit different wood lines, but it's still Arabia, and it's still the two best teams in the entire world at our beautiful game, Age of Empires 2, going at it. Aftermath and Tyrant. What do you see, Zach, in this game? Which side do you want to introduce first?
I'm going to start with MBL in the northeast. He's playing for Aftermath in the gray as the Burmese flank for his team. In the pocket, it's Leary in the green playing as the Incas. Not such a good roll of the dice here for Aftermath. They had Incas on the flank before the restart was called. Now they're in the pocket. It's going to make things a little bit dicey for Aftermath. And on the south flank, they've got Hart in the blue, playing as the Malians out there.
And while you're giving that wonderful introduction, Aftermath is here trying to do some laming. Leary has stolen a couple sheep from Tato, who is playing as the Italians in the red, and Leary is now going to steal Tato's elephant. So Tyrant used their last game, and they probably wish they could have it back, because Tato is going to be playing this game with a lot less food than you would normally have to start off an Arabia match. Viper is in the pocket on that team. He is pocket Mayans once again. We saw that last game. We'll see it again in this one. And on the flank, on the bottom of the map, will be Mr. Doubt. Doubt coming back off the bench to take over for Jordan. Doubt will be playing as the Huns. And so far, I'm just watching Doubt build up. He's got a couple awkward hills on the front of his map. But, yeah, Doubt's map is a bit awkward. But we'll see if he can deal with it.
Well, we'll see as well if the counter lane comes in for Tyrant. Both of the elephants for MBL in the north are very far forward. So if Tato has reasonable health on his scout, he could try a lane in return to equalize things out at one elephant each. But yeah, you're right. He's down 2 goats. He's down an elephant. That's a total of 600 food missing now for Tato. And that went to MBL, by the way. So Leary, although he used his scout to do the laning from the pocket position, he actually took that to his flank player. That's good teammating right there, I'd say.
Yeah, indeed. Very nice play from the Aftermath boys. And for now, they'll have a nice little advantage as MBL lures in his second out of potentially 3 elephants. And again, a couple of goats were also stolen from Tato. Blue player on the bottom of the map, Hart, has been had 4 vills on wood here for a moment. Hart is going to get Doubt's scout, or at least a little bit of damage on Doubt's scout, as Doubt gets a little bit too close for comfort. Those 2 guys, I haven't seen any laming going on, but I do see a villager corpse for the blue player next to his TC.
Yep, Hart did lose one there, and he lost one last game as well, so Hart seems to be having a bit of trouble with these elephants here. Worth noting, elephants, although they have 400 food, which is 60 more than a boar, they are also more dangerous to take, because although I did make a little experiment, you know, an elephant has the same attack and the same speed as a boar, yet somehow it still kills villagers so much faster. And if a villager is, right, this is interesting. If a villager is standing still, and let's say you have 2 villagers, they're both standing still, one's being attacked by a boar, one's being attacked by an elephant, they both die at the same time.
Oh, interesting.
The reason why an elephant kills a villager so much faster when it's running, though, is that the elephant's attack animation is much shorter, so it can start moving again faster. So it's not that it moves faster, it's not that it does more damage. It even kills villagers in the same amount of time if they're stood still. It's simply because it can get moving again after it's dealt its damage, whereas a boar will stand still for much longer.
It's a very interesting stat, and it does actually add a little bit of drama to the game because we've all seen hundreds of matches on Arabia, so let's throw in a couple of new variables, and I think it's a really great tip to the map design and the organizers of this Battle of Africa tournament. I'm going to note one thing that I think is huge. After Hart loses that villager, he's roaming around. He saw Doubt's scout under his TC, and I think he's assumed that Doubt stole his elephant, but Doubt didn't steal his elephant. Hart has an Ellie in the back of his base that he cannot see, and he also has 2 goats that he can't see. So Hart is playing without a bunch of food, but it's because he assumes, I think, that Doubt stole them or that they're somewhere sneaky. So for now, Hart with a little less food than he wants.
Ow!
He's got 4 farms.
Oh, man. This is
5
a
farms.
really good observation from you there. That's such a horrible start for him. Leary's going to find 2 of the goats and send them over. But if you look at Hart's scouting, he sent his scout forward very early on. And that's cost him, actually. He's still not found that boar. Or, sorry, the elephant back then. He's so close to finding it as well. Simply poor scouting from Hart, costing him quite a lot here. And you can see how many villagers he has gathering wood. His feudal time is going to be horrible as a result of this.
Yeah.
And he's going to end up going up with more villagers as well. Very, very horrible start for Hart.
It's a really, it's a really bad start. And it's going to go from bad to worse, I think, because we do see the purple player Doubt going up at 802. He's got 21 villagers. He's going for that continuous scout build, maybe. He does have 1 farm down. He can really afford to go pretty deep into scouts with this many villagers. Doubt's also going to be potentially full walled by the time he hits the feudal age. So he can go down with full force into Hart's base. And the Viper, in the meantime, is going to be maybe fast castling into a castle drop with 3 villagers on stone already.
Yeah, Tato, meanwhile, running straight into MBL's TC, will lose a militia for free right there, as he will now have to back up a little bit. MBL has walled in the villagers on the gold. He's up to feudal. He's going straight into archers. But notice the Tyrant team, with the walling already, they're really focusing on getting that team wall up nice and early. They can't quite wall up to Tato yet, but Tato's basically closed at the moment. Viper's closed as well, as is Doubt. And that's going to set them up well to defend from whatever Aftermath decides to throw their way.
Yeah, I also saw the scout going down there eventually from the green player Leary. So Leary was able to be aggressive. I think he was able to lame an elephant. He was able to run around. He was able to find his teammates' goats, but that scout is now down. Leary is going to be on the way to feudal age. He is going up on 26 villagers. Leary back at home is playing as the Incas, dropping down a barracks. It looks like he will go for the castle age relatively quickly. So will the Viper. Viper, as we said, is on stone, thinking about a castle. And yeah, the Tyrant walls are really... they don't do this as much when they're playing around for fun in their streams, like full team walling off very early, playing this very serious, and here come Doubt scouts toward Hart's base.
Yeah, Hart has managed to wall up quite nicely as well, though. He just needs to close off the right side, otherwise this villager could die to the scouts. But yeah, he can't just walk straight in or run straight in with his scouts there and do damage. On the top side, MBO lost a villager and the militia are still around. But one thing I want to point out about civs here real quick is that normally Inca Pocket is not so nice in team game. You're not like able to do damage like a knight civ would be able to do. Crossbows are much slower and there's a lot of disadvantages to that. But since Viper is the Pocket's Mayans, he knows that Viper's probably fast castling as well. So he's just going to trust his gut and fast castle as well here. And both players going to be up within 2 seconds of each other, which is huge.
Yeah, and Doubt just broke into the back of Hart's base. Hart quick-walled across the back side, but Doubt was able to find the weaker palisades that were only half built. And now he's going to deny Hart from getting down his blacksmith. Hart's going to lose a villager, and this is not going great, man. Hart's in trouble.
And he's lost a villager luring the second elephant as well.
Oh, no.
Poor Hart, man. He's having a rough game. Like, that's so rough. He's lost 2 villagers to elephants. He still doesn't have the second elephant in. He's given up on it. And now he has scouts in his wood line. Man, Hart is just going to be so tilted right now. I hope he's keeping his cool at least, but I would be so tilted if that was
Tyrant
me.
has such a massive advantage because the Viper's Eagle has not been weakened. He is taking some damage now, but that Eagle, if he can, in theory, help to snipe the Spearmen that come out, it makes Hart much more uncomfortable than if just scouts were in his base.
Oh, yeah. And, well, Hart's going to wall up his wood line, but, man, he's been forced to make some spears to defend. He's still... This just horrible. It's a horrible start, and it's going to be costing the Aftermath team quite a bit here. He is going up to the Castle Age, though, and he will be up before Doubt, so maybe he can just boom this off as he attempts to reclose the wall again, but he might end up losing another villager in the process. Doubt's just, yeah, he's going to find it.
Doubt's gotten an incredibly good damage. Tato has been trying to parry a couple of blows from MBL. MBL did get a couple archers into Tato's eco, but Tato added some skirms, and I think Tato is now full-walled, even stone-walled in some parts of his base. So Tato maybe sustaining a tiny bit of damage, maybe a half step behind MBL militarily, but I think he's quite okay at home. As we saw, the Viper is up. He is dropping down TCs for now, and he's actually going to wait and put the castle down third. So the Viper will go eco first, second, and then the castle third.
Interesting. I think Viper's being a little greedy here. Not making the castle straight away. A lot of the time you'll see the castle coming up first so he can support his flanks. But when you look at it, you know, his flanks don't need support. Tato, like you say, is walled up, he's defended, he's even got stone walls in parts. And Doubt doesn't really need the help either because he's being the aggressor on his flank as well here. So I think what we're going to see now is Tato preparing, well, potentially to sling. I mean, he could do it here. He's walling up with stone. He's towering his gold. He is still making some archers, but a sling could be a good option for him if he slings Viper in this one.
Yeah, that's interesting to note because he is spending all of his stone at home. He's sending out a feeler army toward MBL, but he's not looking like he's competing with MBL on that side in a serious way. Hart hits the Castle Age and he gets his TC denied for a moment, loses another Vil. Oh boy.
Hart's having the worst game of his life right now. He's finally got a knight. He'll finally kill that last scout. But talk about value. Doubt gets 9 kills to 4 deaths, most of which were villagers. And Hart still hasn't completed his wall. He's working on it, but boy, it's taking him some time.
Yeah, Tyrant is going to take a little bit of an advantage, or a pretty nice advantage, from the really slow start from Hart. And they're going to use that to build out an eco in the Viper's base. As you said, Tato looks to be walling up and planning to do some slinging here, but we'll see. Doubt is going double stable knights, so it will be at least knights and plumed archers and some archer units from Tato, which is a very nice balance in a 3v3. On the Aftermath side, we see double range archers from MBL. Green player is going into Eagle Warriors, interesting on that side. And the blue player Hart is maybe trying to go for a couple of knights, but he probably will mostly try to get his eco back in order.
Yeah, he's got his second and third TC now coming up. Only one stable for knight production. My concern really is like the Incas. The Eagle Warriors aren't going to be stronger than Knights here. And we already have a good number of Knights out for Doubt. He's already got Bloodlines. He could take the fight versus the Eagles, no problem. These Eagles have no upgrades right now. The Knights from Hart upgraded as well. So Doubt has a huge advantage in the south. And obviously with Viper coming in with Plumes as well, it's just a better combo. The Plumes are able to lay out the damage because they do bonus damage versus Eagles as well here.
Yeah, and notably, Tato, though he walled up and looked a bit to us like he was slinging, he's going up to Castle, and he's got double-range archer production. So it will be Plumes, Archers, and Knights for the Tyrant team. It will be Knights, Eagles, and Archers for the Aftermath team. I like Tyrant's combination a bit more, but maybe Aftermath can find a good fight with those arrow-resistant Eagles at some point here in the mid-game. For now, it's a tough moment for Aftermath. Hart's had such a rough start. He does have 3 TCs down. He's trying to reboom up his Vils, but 2 Tyrant armies are knocking on the front door as we speak.
Yep, and he's losing Vils to the ranged units here as well. I mean, I'm surprised. I guess I'm not surprised to see Tato making military. It just really looked like he was setting up for a sling. But he's just playing super defensive on that north side and allowing Viper to go to the south without any worry of his north flank getting into any trouble. Viper here getting in deep, taking out some more vills. He is missing ballistic, so he's missing a lot of arrows here as well. But all in all, Heart still taking a pounding at the moment, but magically, amazingly, Doubt is actually only one villager ahead of Heart right now, and is that because he's on... No, he's adding his third TC, so okay, his TC is coming up a bit later, but it's quite interesting that Heart's caught up and even overtaken Doubt in villagers right now.
I think a very noteworthy thing as well is that all three Aftermath armies are here on the corner of the map. MBL has walked those and waddled those crossbows all the way across the map. Tato is not walled up and slinging. He's going Elite Skirm, Crosswomen, and Bodkin Arrow, and he's headed toward MBL's eco. MBL's reinforcements are going to have to fight a pretty big and scary army at home because his army on the front is headed toward Doubt.
Absolutely, and now it's going to be that 3v2 on this south side versus the Tyrants. Heart still doesn't have upgrades, however, on his Knights. That could be costly. They're also potentially going to be taking a fight uphill here. Never mind, they're going to be taking the hill. Tyrant actually going to flee. They are not confident in winning that fight. 3v2, they need to go back. But Tato now has an opportunity to do damage. He's denied the TC on the front, but there is a tower there, so MBL can easily get that TC up still. But he's putting a lot of villagers idle and doing quite a bit of damage to MBL at least.
Viper going ballistics, MBL going banking, so maybe MBL tipping his cap toward his strategy as the game rolls on. For now, the Aftermath team goes back a bit. They wait on one ridgeline while the Tyrant team waits on the other ridgeline. I thought it would be a decent fight for the Aftermath team, but Leary is sending his Eagles away because somebody's got to deal with Tato. Tato is basically raiding MBL's economy with impunity. There's nothing really here for MBL to defend with. He's still trying to build up reinforcements, but he doesn't have much. Just a couple crossbows and skirms.
And now banking's done. So it looks like we're going to see the sling. MBL going to send his resources to Leary. Leary is going to receive that sling. He's going to go imp. He's going to do the Incan Eagle Warriors, Elite Eagle Warriors. And we've seen success with that strategy before, slinging a Meso Civ to Elite Eagles. And obviously, if you can get a castle and do couriers as well, it will have 10 pierce armor on its Eagle Warriors, which is huge. Incas are extremely versatile, actually, as a civilization. And right now, these Eagles are going to do enough to clean up that army from Tato out in the open, defend his teammate, and he's up to the Imperial Age as well. So Leary's in a good position this game to do damage. Question is, can they hold on? We'll see.
That's a big question because Leary is losing some villagers and losing some Eagles in the south. He's had to send an army to the north. He has cleaned up Tato. But if Tyrant is clever, and I think they probably are, they will need to make a little bit of a unit switch because, of course, you don't want two ranged units going after what could be a huge amount of Eagle spam. For now, the Plumed Archers from the Viper are doing good damage, but I'm looking for the Italian player Tato, who's got just 14 military, to maybe make a little bit of a switch to deal with Eagles to help his team out. But let's keep an eye on that.
Yeah, the question is now, is Leary going to be able to do enough raiding damage? And, will they potentially be able to clean up this army? What's the play here? Do they ignore the Knights and Plumes from Viper and Doubt and just go for the eco? It might be the best option at the moment, but Viper's on the way up to Imp as well. And even though these Plumed Archers even though these Eagle Warriors from Leary will have up to 10 pierce armor, the Plumed Archers still do good damage against them thanks to their bonus damage which they get. So the Eagles, they kind of don't want to be fighting head on, I think. I think they want to go for the raiding if possible.
What's interesting is that as soon as those Eagles leave from the green player Leary, Tato comes back with another dozen crossbows to try to do more damage inside of MBL's economy. Tyrant is kind of punishing the slinger here. MBL does have an army, but of course he's sending all his resources to Leary. Leary's imp comes in just a moment. I'm interested to know how many barracks that he has down, so let's do a quick count. Looks like it is going to be 5 or 6, maybe 7th one on the way. So Leary's going to be pumping Elite Eagles like a madman, as long as he can afford it.
Certainly will be, and we'll see where he's going with them in just a moment. He is sending a few more up north, like we said, to deal with Tato's crossbow.
Yeah.
And Doubt and Viper actually grouping up with Tato here as well. They've recognized that maybe MBL is slinging here, since they've not seen him make any army at home. They recognize he's kind of exposed and maybe a little weaker at the moment, and they're going to go ahead and 3v1 him up on that north side, following up with a castle drop, while at the same time in the south, Lyri pushes forward with his Elite Eagle Warriors, looking to do some damage out here.
Yeah, MBL's eco is in shambles, and for the second game out of the 3 that we've seen, Tyrant is killing town centers with knights, and that castle drop also takes away MBL's ability to take his main gold. Tado's roaming with several groups of crossbows around Tado's eco, and the Viper's got some plumes here as well. Doubt will send his whole army to the south, the Viper sending reinforcing plumes up there as well. They're going to get pushed by Aftermath now, and boy oh boy does Aftermath need to get something productive out of this push.
They absolutely do. They're losing in the north. They need to start winning in the south. Lyri does have +4 defense done on his Eagles. Viper is yet to finish upgrading his plumes. He's literally just reached the Imperial Age. And there comes the raiding. This is exactly what the Aftermath team need to do. Get in there, force the Tyrant team to go idle. But it won't be so easy versus Viper, as he's got castles dotted around on these hills. And those Eagles will melt underneath that castle fire. MBL is even down here as well with his crossbows, doing what he can. But the raiding onto Doubt is pretty heavy.
Doubt is a legend of the game, but he right now is under a little bit of pressure. Eagle's kind of squeezing all of his villagers into all of his town centers, shutting the whole eco down. Doubt's on the way to Imp, but he will not be able to just wait for the upgrades. He's going to have to engage now, bringing his knights into the fray. Viper's plumes are also firing away. Doubt's economy is down to 71 vills with 41 idols. MBL is also here. He's going to have his crossbows on top of the hill. So Aftermath all in to make a push here. In the meantime, Tado just continues to harass MBL.
He's doing a little bit of damage, but MBL is... How's he looking on villages? He's got 48 vills right now, so he is trailing quite heavily. But the raiding from Lyri is continuing. He's now up into Tato at the north side. He's grouping again on the hill here with his teammates. But Imperial Age will be faster for Doubt in this one. If Doubt can afford Cavalier, which he should be able to do, they might be able to push this back quite nicely, as Cavalier versus Eagles is obviously a good matchup. And he's got the Viper Elite Plumed Archer support from the rear as well. So we'll see what they can do. Obviously, those crossbows from MBL doing very little now, even though they have the hill advantage. The Plumed Archers, of course, with 4 pierce armor and quite a lot of health as well, able to withstand a bit of a beating.
Yeah, Elite Plumed Archer in for the Viper. He's got banking and coinage, and he is going to have 1.2k food and a bunch of gold in the bank, so maybe a little bit of redistribution of the wealth on the Tyrant team. Doubt sustained some damage, but he is still on 80 villagers, so it's not exactly mission critical. Tado is still roaming around with crossbows after his castle drop. He's been just dotting the map with more outposts. We've seen this in a couple of different games. Tado seems to be just interested in keeping track of where the trade is, which is incredibly valuable in a team game.
Yeah, look at Viper here, killing a bunch of Eagles just inside of Lyri's base with his Plumed Archers backed against the wood line. I don't care if these guys have 10 pierce armor. Look how quickly they die. This is what I'm talking about. Eagles, everyone's like, just use Eagles to counter Plumes. It's easy. No, it's not. Look at that. Viper with 112 kills and 47 deaths so far this game. And making it look like a piece of cake to rip through that 10 pierce armor.
Oh, and Zach, the 3 militia drush that Tado built to start the game, 2 of those militia survived. They just killed 2 vills from MBL who were over trying to drop markets.
No way.
So talk about adding insult to injury. Those units are recycled and reused, and they will be paying off a bit.
Denying the markets, that's amazing. Viper's also at the south of the map though as well, making sure that no markets are coming up down here with his plumes. And well, he's going to fall back to the safety of Tato's castle. They're going to regroup and Kondo? Anyone?
Yep.
Oh man, there they go. Kondos are a good unit choice here, I think.
Absolutely.
A, to raid, B, to deal with Eagles. And Lyri has not been able to fulfill his primary objective, and that was to raid the enemy's economy and shut them down. Now, things are looking very bad for Aftermath. Tyrant here are about to retake a very big advantage in this game.
The Kondo choice is absolutely what I was hoping for, or thinking that maybe Tyrant should be going for. Crossbows in the end are not really countering the Eagles, and they're not countering what will soon be Farimba Cavalier, which the Malians player Hart has coming to the north. Those units are headed toward Tado. They need to slow him down, or else he will totally destroy MBL's base. MBL still on 65 villagers. Paladin coming for Doubt, though, and Doubt's got a big army in the south. He's castle dropping nearer to Hart's position. And we'll see. But the window is closing for Aftermath.
Pretty sure Tyrant have this in the bag right now, as Viper raids Heart's economy, killing about 30 villagers, maybe less, but it's a lot of vills. Heart will have Farimba, he'll have 19 attack damage on these Cavalier, but Doubt already has Paladin, and although, yes, they're actually going to push Tato back in the north, Heart gonna have to deal with Paladins and Plumed Archers in his economy right now, and he's just having a hard time dealing with that at the same time. You know, he's on the cusp of losing his base right here.
Yeah, Heart's in a little bit of hot water there, getting pushed on both sides. The Viper still has a massive group of plumes. They're headed to the north to try to bolster Tado's position. The Aftermath team knocked down a castle, but they seem ready to retreat and regroup. Tado is still taking a little bit of that gold in MBL's base, but more importantly, MBL is not able to take his main gold still. A couple of trebs ready from Leary. They want to make another push here soon, but Condos and Plumes will be here to contend against that push.
Okay, so right now, Leary is at 200 pop. Heart is at 160. MBL is at 76. I think MBL needs to go castle now. Now is the time to go castle. Maybe reduce the amount of slinged resources a little bit. And, you know, when your teammates both reach max pop, you need to get up there yourself. Otherwise, it's 3v2, and you cannot play like that. So maybe now is the time. MBL doesn't have the most villagers, but Imperial Age needs to come in at some point for him. And he can contribute in a big way to this battle right now. At the moment, he's relying on his teammates for safety, and his teammates are just spread a little too thin.
Yeah, and very notable. If you're cheering for Aftermath to come back, and I am, because I want to see them make a good series of this. I don't want to see him go 3-0. It's going to be super difficult because we're shifting into the late game, and Aftermath controls one corner of the map. Doubt has a castle, and he's actually going to put down some stables in the southern corner. Tyrant has walled up the northern and the western corner of the map. So it's going to be incredibly difficult for Aftermath, who's already losing the center of the map, extra gold piles, and now they're losing their ability to trade efficiently.
We got Leary adding some Kamayuk in. That's very nice versus the Paladins, but they've got nothing to address the Plumed Archers. In fact, they've had no answers to the Plumed Archers all game. You know, they're lacking any form of siege, but that's even going to be tough to pull off when you have Paladins in the front line. And at the end of the day, Marley and Cavalier are just not going to cut it versus the Paladins of Doubt. And with that said, Aftermath are calling GG in game number 3. Am I surprised?
Yes, that's the big question. That's what I'm asking next. Are you surprised, Zach? 3-0 Tyrant.
I am very surprised. Well, I mean, amazing play by Tyrant there. I think maybe a questionable decision to have MBL slinging. The Burmese could have gone for a lot of Arambai, which, let's be honest, if they'd have gotten Arambai out this game, could have been huge. Would have been good to deal with basically everything that the Tyrants are throwing out, maybe with the exception of the Plumes. But, oh man, what a great game from Tyrant. And to think that they lost 0-3 versus Aftermath in the Swiss stage, to now start out this best of 7 with a 3-0 and move it to match point in game 4, that's impressive.
Yeah, indeed. Kind of a rail-to-rail victory for Tyrant. It was Heart's base that was kind of an issue. He lost a couple vills. Doubt was able to break in through his quick walling. He wasn't really able to stand toe-to-toe with Doubt, and it made MBL come all the way across the map. When you have a flank-making crossbows that has to come all the way across the map, it can work, but you are fully committed now to fighting on that side of the map because, you know, you got nothing at home. And while MBL was away, Tado was ready to play. He came in and raided his opponent's eco and made him pay for it. And Tyrant goes up 3-0. Next game is Beach Fight, and it is all-in desperation time for the Aftermath crew because they could lose this 4-0. I mean, the way the momentum is going, I actually kind of expect them to lose it 4-0. They don't look very good in that last game, Zach.
Yeah, it's certainly a worry right now for Aftermath. It's getting a little bit too close for comfort for them, isn't it? And to be honest with you, Tyrant have just come out of this, come into this series of games with all guns blazing. We've seen a lot of slinging in this series so far. Tyrant's made it work. This game they didn't sling, and they made it work without the sling as well. So they are multifaceted. They're able to overcome any obstacle, it seems. And well, going into this last game, let's look at the potential civs here. I realize you guys can't see that. Let me just fix that up real quick. Civ picks on your screen. What do we think for the Tyrants? They've got some great civs left for Beach Fight right now.
They sure do. I think you go for the Britons here. I think you go for the Khmer here. And maybe you have a GOTS player slinging. I'm not sure what their strategy is going to be. For Aftermath, of course, Slavs with all those early farms. It's not a bad civ to choose at all. Very powerful civ. But I'm not sure where you go other than Slavs for them. Maybe you go Ethiopians or...
Yeah, I mean, they could go Byzantines for like the fast Imperial Arbalest strat, which we've seen on these closed maps. The thing is, I mean, they've got Mongol. I feel like the Aftermath team have drafted quite poorly. I mean, the fact that they have the Mongols left for Beach Fight and Colosseum. Actually, no, I mean, sorry, ignore me. I thought we had not Socotra. It's Colosseum, so it's fine. I mean, Mongols are reasonable for Colosseum, but I feel like they could have... Wait, hold on. I feel like they've picked Mongols already. Have I got this wrong?
I have Mongols left on the board, but I could be mistaken.
Oh, no, sorry. They were playing Mongols in the game we were watching before this series started. Okay. I was getting confused. No, they do have Mongols, but I would have expected to see Mongols coming out a lot earlier. That's what I'm trying to say here. I think maybe the Ethiopians could be a good choice here, as they want the Archer Civ. I think you're spot on, though. Britons, absolutely. Khmer, potentially. Magyars and Indians, a solid choice as well for the Tyrants. And game 4, this is match point right now. I mean, this could be won or lost right here. And that's kind of scary for Aftermath.
It is kind of scary. I don't really... If I'm thinking about it from the health of the Aftermath team, this isn't the only event this year. They are going to be... they're going to be competing for more money, more prize pools. They're going to be competitive in every tournament coming up. This is a great team. But if I'm thinking about it from a standpoint of mental, like how strong are you mentally, I think you got to come back and win this game. Even if you lose the series 4-1, I think it helps you so much to win this game mentally. And I'm really cheering for Aftermath because we kind of we need this team, I think, to show Tyrant at least some competition. They haven't done it so well today. But boy, bunch of nice guys, and I really hope they can pull out game number 4 here. 1 minute 10 left on the spec delay, Zach. What's your final thoughts before we go?
This is a classic Killer B favoring the underdog.
Oh man, I love
cheering
to see
for the underdog.
I want to see 7 games whenever I can.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. Just the experience of this. And obviously, this is the first time Aftermath have played a tournament as a team before. Tyrant have been going since 2012, 13, like a long time ago. They've been active for ages. So Tyrant had the experience. Aftermath had the talent. Let's see which one wins out in game number 4 here.
Alrighty, we have liftoff into game number 4, Battle of Africa Finals. It is Tyrant versus Aftermath, and it is 3-0 for the Tyrant team. Aftermath must win this game. They do have a rematch left, so if their start is anything less than perfect, I would expect them to use it. It's Leary, MBL, and Hart who are in desperate need of one win here to get themselves onto the board. The map is Beach Fight. I'm Killer B, and I'm joined here by ZeroEmpires. What are you thinking about, buddy?
Just looking at the civs, as you do at the start of these games. And, you know, we set the Slavs for Aftermath are a good choice here, thanks to those starting farms that you begin with on Beach Fight, the lack of any boar near to your TC, and obviously with the goats being far away, you can get on those farms straight away, and Slavic farmers work faster than they gather from goats. So that's a good way to begin. Then they have the Japanese, solid archer civ, buffed recently, or not so recently, with Wallow Kingdoms, with their bloodlines on their cavalry, quite a versatile civilization, and then Byzantines in the pocket. Sorry, I did that in a bit of a weird order, but Leary in the Byzantine pocket. maybe looking for that sort of fast imp arbalest play that we've seen on these more closer maps.
Yeah, very well put. And on the Tyrant side, we'll probably see the best Civ you can possibly get on this map since there are so many goats. The Viper will have the Britons. Right now, the Viper's having a little trouble getting goats. Usually at this point in the game, you have a bunch. But the Viper currently has 3 or 4. Hart, for instance, has about 15 by the looks of it under his TC. Viper with 3 goats incoming. He's going to need to find some more and maybe even have his teammates sling him some sheep. Next to the Viper will be Doubt playing as the Khmer. Not a bad choice at all. Good elephant civ there. And on the right side, we'll see Turks from Tato. I'm not sure if he'll sling, but that's always a possibility with one civ on Beach Fight. For people who have never, ever seen the map before, all of the extra gold is on the left side of the map and on the right side of the map. And there's a bunch of hunt in the north, which we've seen some players use in some situations. But you ultimately have to expand out your economy at the right moment in the game to take that extra gold on the corner, and it's a very easy to raid location. So early game, it's a close, tight fight. Late game, it's all about that expansion of your eco, and we are seeing 4 sheep coming over from Doubt to the Viper.
Yeah, you said slinging the sheep and, well, the goats. He's doing just that. The Britons gather from goats extremely quickly compared to other civs. It's a civ bonus, of course, and that allows them to maybe do some drush action nice and early. Gives them the option to go for a very fast feudal, but we are going to see a drush as the barracks comes up at 5 minutes, which is quite early for the well, for anybody, in fact, but for Viper here, going to be trying to do some damage with some militia. We've already got Hart walling up. He knows what he's against. He's aware, and he's going to hold back for now and get the walls going to defend himself from this.
MBL, or rather, Tato just found the mother load of goats. Just found a huge pack of goats, and they are ravenously headed toward his base. In the meantime, MBL is here with his first militia, already looking to get an advantage. Very interesting to see such early militia play.
Yeah, I like it, and I think it's possible to do as well, since you start with all these farms. You're not needing to seed any farms early at all. Saving on the wood, allowing you to build the barracks a little sooner. Looks like Tato, without Loom, will lose a villager here. But it looks like Leary will pay the price with his scout. Getting very, very low, and Tato, oh sorry, MBL even, a little sloppy, taking damage from the TC there as he runs by. But Tato does eventually finish Loom. He should be fine for now as he gets those goats under the TC and back to safety. But yeah, we should start seeing players walling up quite soon. We already see a bit of aggression on both flanks, and Viper's really a underwhelming amount of goats actually for him. Look how many Hearts just managed to steal away on the left side. 5 more gonna go to Hart here.
Yeah, Hart so far has been very aggressive at grabbing the goats. Maybe a little bit of luck in finding that first patch, but he's been stealing them from the Viper as much as he can. And this is one of those games where you have to hold that Britons player from having too many goats because, of course, they chew them so quickly. It's such a nice advantage. Viper on the way to feudal, Doubt on the way to feudal, Hart on the way to feudal. Leary will loom up and maybe click up as well. MBL's drush for now has been a bit annoying, but he's still waiting to land serious impact. He is heading in maybe in time to steal some goats from Doubt. So far, it's been a pretty decent start for Aftermath. They need a win here, Zach. Do you think that they have the Civ advantage or disadvantage against Tyrant here?
Good question, actually. I think it depends how it plays out, whether or not... it's hard to say because there's so many different factors all throughout the game. Like, the Tyrant Civs could be stronger in the late game, but do they get to the late game? Does this power spike from AM come earlier, and are they able to capitalize on that? I think if the Byzantine player can do the fast imp, then they could beat the Britons to the chase with the Imperial Age and take the advantage early in the Imperial. But if the Britons get to post-Imperial, with this being such a closed map, the range on their archers is so huge, they can do damage from nearly anywhere on the map here in the center. And that's just great for area control and allowing his teammates to do the pushing with the heavier units like the Khmer battle elephants or the Turks making some bombard cannons and some gunpowder, for example.
Yeah, as we hit the feudal age, the Viper adds in 2 ranges. Hart adds in a stable, so that flank is going to be fought at incredibly close distance. You can see the blue and yellow player are basically walling back-to-back on each other. Doubt has added in a stable since he has hit the next age. Leary is still waiting for his uptime. He'll get it right now, and he will drop double ranges as the Byzantines. MBL stealing a bunch of goats there from Doubt for a moment, which would have been nice. Doubt had kind of the mother load of goats headed his way, but he did eventually control those, and Doubt is sending that mother load toward the Viper's base. So that's another 10 goats that the Viper can chew up.
Yeah, that's really nice. He's going to build a palisade gate to let them through. Welcome, welcome, everybody. Please make yourself comfortable. We have blankets and straw underneath the TC. This is Hotel Viper. But yeah, he's obviously going to be able to go straight into double archery range. But this is so huge, you know? Like, not having to spend wood on farms, being able to keep taking the goats, the amount of wood he's saving is huge. Not only that, but he's taking the goats for a long period of time. That'll help him with his castle upgrade as well. And this is the reason why we see Viper and Feudal so quickly this game. And looking good on villagers as well. So far, though, not able to push through. And the way that this map has spawned, there's quite a good natural barrier here of trees going through the center of the map, making a quite easy wall for Aftermath on the left side.
Market Blacksmith for MBL. He's fast castling. Not sure what he plans to do beyond that fast castle. Next to him is Tado. Tado hit the feudal age a moment ago. Tado dropped down a stable, and he does look like he could go into scouts. Yep, Tado will add in some scouts. So Tyrant may have 3 armies. It looks like they will. Doubt roaming with scouts, Tado with scouts, and the Viper with archers. The Aftermath team will have 2 armies. Archers from Leary and scouts, I believe. Wasn't it? From Heart? Yep, scouts from Heart.
He's in the back of Doubt space right now looking to do some damage, but hasn't found any kills yet. In fact, this game has had very few casualties so far. You know, a total of 4 or 5 kills overall so far. But yeah, Doubt and Tato both going for scouts here, and I think the reason for that is map control. They want to be able to control the edge of the map as well. And they want to be able to roam around quickly and abuse any sort of weak points in these walls if anyone is able to break through at any point. Hart, though, going straight down the middle, continuing to send more scouts toward Pocket Player for the Tyrants. And he's going to find himself 2v1 over here quite soon, as Doubt brings his scouts back, and Viper sends his archers to defend as well now.
Yeah, it's going to be a tricky couple of minutes here for Aftermath. MBL will hit the Castle Age early. I don't know what his plan is. Right now, he's got a couple units inside of his barracks. Very interesting to see. Maybe just some spears to defend with. Yeah, a couple of spears for MBL. Not sure what his composition is going to be. It's not like his Civ hits the Castle Age and really scares me with anything. But we'll see if it pays off.
Well, it's interesting because he's just done Market Blacksmith, so he might be considering doing Monks and Siege here. He hasn't done an Archery Range or a Stable, which would indicate a certain military production that he's going for. Hart at the back, though, will kill a villager of Tato. He's going to see the market coming up, thinking about the Sling, perhaps, Tato here, as the Turk Sling could be on the table. Potentially slinging the Khmer for some elephants, potentially slinging the Viper to get to the Imperial Age faster and get onto Arbalest. Who knows? We will see if he does the coinage upgrade or not, or if that's market's more just to rebalance his economy. But Stonewall's coming up. It's looking more and more like a sling by the minute as NBL reaches Castle and drops down that Siege Workshop just across from Tato here.
Yeah, MBL hits up. He's built a couple of spearmen. He's going to drop a siege workshop, spend his gold and wood, I suppose, on some siege and try to make a little bit of a push. Hart is here with his scouts. He's all the way here from the other flank of the map. It's not that long of a walk, but Leary's here also. So we got 3 Aftermath armies that will be pushing in on Tado's position. Not so much to defend for Tado, but he does stonewall in his side of the map, and that is going to help him tremendously to hold off the oncoming push.
Yeah, they've chosen a good target, actually, in Tato, because if Tato is slinging, then obviously pushing through and eradicating him while he's undefended is a good call, if you ask me. Doubt into the Castle Age is doing light cavalry upgrade right now. I didn't think he had that many scouts to justify it, but he's going to do it anyway. And he'll follow up with knights. It's not actually going to be battle elephants straight off the bat. And interestingly, Tato, you know, we said, is he slinging? What's he doing? Last game he stonewalled up and he didn't sling. This game he's stonewalled up and he's going to the Castle Age and not slinging either. Maybe maybe he was planning to sling. Maybe he's adapting now that he's seen the mangonels here from MBL. He recognizes he probably needs his own siege to defend. I'm not sure. It's questionable.
Well, Tato might be forced into a bit of an awkward position, but the stone walls are very nice for him. They will take damage very quickly, of course, because we're playing HD. Stone walls have a little less HP, don't they, Zach? In HD?
Yep, 900 in the Feudal Age, 1,800 in the Castle Age, so they're half health right now, essentially.
Yeah, so they will have some trouble, but the Viper has sent over crossbows. It's not the natural counter to a Mangonel, but these are Britain's crossbows, and it is the Castle Age. So we're seeing 8 range for the Viper and only 7 range for MBL, and that's a really uncomfortable position for MBL to try to push against.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's got 3 Mangonels, so he could bite the bullet and go for it, but obviously the Britain crossbow and the right hands and with a bit of micro can take those Mangonels down quite comfortably. MBL now following up with a monastery, and Leary at the back lines holding on with some archers versus the first knights from Doubt. We've got knights from Heart heading around the left side, and I'm wondering where they're going to go. There is actually quite a weak defense at the back of Doubt's base. Could be an opportunity for him to push in there and raid Doubt's economy, while Doubt is away from home on the right side perhaps. But interestingly, you know, wherever you are on this map, you're never too far away from home because all the players are very centered towards the middle of the map here.
Yeah, Tato's expanding that eco out to the right. We will see if Tyrant can control that part of the map. For now, that big push from MBL has kind of, it's gone back, it's wavered a bit. He's added in more pikes. He could get a big shot on the Viper here, but he does not quite get within range to pull the trigger with his mangoes. So MBL is still lurking, waiting for his big moment to hit the Viper hard. But for the investment he's made so far, it hasn't paid off. He hasn't done any real damage to Tato.
Nope, not much at all. And Tato now in the Castle Age will throw down a monastery. He doesn't have enough stone for a second town center. This is quite an awkward situation because he's built the stone walls, but there is no stone left to build town centers, and there's no stone to gather either because there is no stone on this map. Interestingly, he's actually slinging the Viper right now. Viper receiving some sling from Tato, I can confirm. But he's in the Castle Age just as a precaution so that he can at least defend himself with Mangonels and Monks should it need to be that way. Not only that, but Leary, as predicted at the start of this game, he's on the way up to Imp. He's not messing around. He wants those Arbalest ASAP.
Yeah, Leary has been a bit quiet with his military for a while. He's, of course, in the pocket on this map, and he is going to go up to Imp, as you said. Padded Archer armor is coming. MBL is grabbing Wheelbarrow, and it looks like Aftermath looks more comfortable in this game to me. They've had one push stymied on MBL's side, but all is not lost. They are going to have Leary up to Imp, and they're going to make a play for it. Tato continues to maybe buy a little stone and stonewall in that right-hand corner. That's a pretty nice tactic, I think. That will stop against some raiding.
And I was right. He does have a second TC, sorry, but he didn't have the stone for a third one. That's what I meant to say. But yeah, down the middle of the map, they're going straight for it. The Mangonel is going to work at that gate there, and the Arbalest, well, soon to the Arbalest, chilling out behind them with Leary right there. Viper, though, hot on their heels. Imperial Age coming in for him as well. And, well, the key thing here is that the Britons, although they have the range, they don't have the thumb ring, but whoa, nice shot from MBL. He did take it there and get a good number of crossbows from Viper.
Yeah, great shot from MBL, keeping the Viper at bay. Viper trying to come in from awkward angles to trick MBL. Imperial Age coming for the Viper, so the range advantage will continue to increase for the Viper versus MBL's Mangoes. But Leary did grab Ballistics. He grabbed Bracer. Arbalest is coming. He's going to have a beefy, scary group of crossbows. Doubt continues to go Knights. I'm a bit surprised that he's not going for some Elephants. Here we go, transitioning to Elephants right now. And adding in a Blacksmith. Excuse me.
Okay, so they will probably need to get some more monks out if the elephants are on the way. For those wondering about the walling here, you can't build buildings on this sand, but I believe you can build the walls. Well, obviously you can build walls, but you don't see players building any other buildings on the sand out there. But here's the push. On the right-hand side, the Arbalest is done. The Mangonels, there's 5 of them, full force, taking out that gate. Man, it's going down painfully slow, but they'll get there eventually. There is a stone wall in front of it, though. I don't know if they've seen that, but they might not be able to get in as soon as that gate goes down. But man, Tato is going to have a hard time defending this now. There's a lot of army here from all 3 of the Aftermath players grouping up and going together.
Yeah, Doubt goes... As you
Nice
see.
mangonel shot, though.
Oh yeah, the Viper, Tato getting in a good mango shot by the looks of it. Doubt is bringing his whole army here. Doubt has a lot of knights and not so many elephants, so not exactly as good of a fight for him, especially in a narrow strait, which they could end up fighting in. Aftermath continues to mass in front of Tato's base, but they've yet to really fully get in here. They've just broken down the wall and walked away for a moment. Viper has Arbalest. He's getting some good damage in with that 10 range, and all Leary can really do is run from this.
Absolutely. Right now, it's not easy to deal with those Arbalest at all. I mean, he is now falling back and doing Skirm. And that was not the way Aftermath envisaged that. They thought they would be able to push through 3v1, take the win, take the fight, knock one of the players out of the game. Didn't really work that way, did it? They went in, they got hit by a Mangonel, and they ran away. And now they're being picked off by Viper's Arbalest. And Viper's been quite quiet this game. Just 9 kills and 11 deaths. And, you know, what's quite amazing about this game is look at the KDs of these players. Hardly any units killed or lost across the board. Yet we're looking at armies of, 40 to 50 units here.
Yeah, Tato has double stonewalled as well in front of Doubt's base, so the Aftermath push continues to kind of fall on deaf ears. They seem to have a lot of trouble breaking in, and Viper is keeping everyone at an arm's length with those ARBs. MBL not microing very well, just sent about 15 pikes to their death.
Oh, what is he doing? Oh, man. That's not good. Meanwhile, he is trying to push down the middle, but again, defended. Tyrant are defending well here. And although the Aftermath team have the score lead right now, it's an incredibly close one.
Yeah, it feels like a bit of a ticking clock, and the clock is ticking against Aftermath right now. Tyrant has already expanded to the right with 3 TCs, and they've got their full walls done. So the onus is on them to break. A couple of Mangonels get sniped down very quickly there by Tato, doing a good job in the middle of the map, and I don't see a whole lot of momentum for the Aftermath team.
Well, this is the thing, right? The Britain Arbalests are so hard to push into because they just pick you off as soon as you come into range. And it takes you another 2 or 3 tiles before you can even close the gap. So, look at this. I mean, they come in, and they run away, and, Leary's trying to keep the skirms in front here. But there's Mangonels, there's Arbalest, there's everything, and it's just a real difficult one to push into. What they need is something big and beefy to get in there and, tank this damage to close the gap. Something like, some Rams. They don't have that. They don't have any unit or anything in the works that can do that. And meanwhile, you've got Doubt bringing in the Battle Elephants. And this is huge because now they have the tankiness. The Tyrants have the tankiness, and that's going to allow them to push out and start slowly grinding this army back, I feel.
Yeah, it's a tough position for Aftermath for a moment. They did get a little bit of a good engagement. Viper was sending villagers out to the left, and Hart was able to deny that with a couple of knights on that side. Viper will have 1 TC down, though, in that area. I don't know if that TC will survive very long, but Tyrant is fighting on both sides for the gold.
Yeah, I mean, the right side's very secure. That's fine for now. The left side, Aftermath are taking a long time to go out of there. My concern is Aftermath are going to run out of gold here before they manage to lock it down and get it safe. Mm-hmm. If I'm not mistaken, there's actually no gold left in Heart's base. There's a little bit of gold left on the right side for NBL and Leary, but Heart's out of gold at the moment. And without any gold, I mean, he's not going to be able to make many more knights. He's not going to be able to afford the Cavalier upgrade. And is that a siege tower I see? I hope that's a misclick, but it might not be. I mean, he's going to use them to drop over the wall, right? It's not a bad idea.
Yeah, MBL is going to drop a bunch of those elite skirms over the walls. We've got cannons as well for Leary.
You can't get it to work. Okay, it's like a fast-moving ram right now. He's got to get those skirmishers closer to the target before they pop out. There you go. Straight into the shot of a Mangonel there. Nice try, but well, I mean, it's something. It's a bit tanky, I guess. They'll take down the TC though, so Leary's able to get those bombard cannons to good use.
Ooh, there's a rather meaningful amount of raiding coming in on the left side from Doubt. Doubt will roll into the gold pile where Hart was trying to take gold. Hart has a TC up. But this is certainly going to disrupt the gold economy, and it will allow Viper to build a few more vills inside of his own TC. It's going to be a hiccup for Aftermath on their gold eco.
Yeah, and last weekend when they played versus, or Tyrant played versus the Finns, they did a great job with that then as well. We did see Doubt being a key player for the Tyrants, roaming around the map, raiding the gold. And obviously the Aftermath team have attempted to wall this up, but they've got a tiny piece of wall and it's completely open, with the exception of that small area there. So at the moment, yeah, Hart losing quite a bit. Villagers going down. He is forced to react. He's sending his knights over there now. That's leaving the push on the right side looking a little bit anemic, but
Ooh.
they're still pushing in well.
The Viper has bought up a castle, and he's going to try to castle drop that gold. Hart is on the way over slowly with a huge group of knights, but the Viper is peeling off a couple of units to slow Hart down, and Hart might not get there in time. Let's see.
Well, we've got Battle Elephants from Doubt there as well. Oh man, if they get that castle up, that would be huge. They can lock down so much of this gold, and I don't think they're going to be able to stop it. It's too late. Hart arriving with the knights, but there's no way now that that castle will be denied, and the TC will be lost as well. The gold situation for the Aftermath team is about to get very dire.
Yeah, the Tyrant guys peeled a little bit away from their army, which kind of left Tata's base a little bit less than defended, but the elephants there are still soaking up a lot of damage, and the Arbs are keeping that fight slow and steady. Hart has a huge group of Cavalier, but losing that TC and seeing a castle come up make it really, really difficult for Aftermath. I want to see how many gold miners each of the Aftermath guys have. Leary has 4, Hart has 40 somehow. And MBL is sitting on 0 gold miners at the moment.
Yeah, the gold situation is getting pretty bad. We see Leary making a lot of skirms. Obviously, the Byzantines get cheaper trash, but skirms are not the best use of population space. I mean, I guess against Britain Arbalest, there is value there. But Viper right now using that castle to research Yeoman. Really important tech for the Brits, giving them an extra 1 range. He's also completing chemistry, so these Arbalest will be fully upgraded. And obviously, you know, a lot of castles on this map, not something you would really see. But 1 castle here or there is certainly possible if you get enough gold to buy it. And Viper will do just that, denying the gold, delaying the gold, and maybe putting a big thorn in Aftermath's side. They do need some siege. They need something to deal with this over here.
Viper will also grab Conscription, which is a very nice upgrade to have. Obviously, helping get those units out more quickly. Viper has sent villagers over to the right side of the map, so he and the Tyrant boys are happily mining away behind stone walls. Hart is mining a bit on the edge of that gold pile. The castle is under pressure, and it could go down to Cavalier eventually, but Viper will get murder holes very shortly.
Yeah, and I mean, Hart's throwing away so many units here as well. The TC is doing damage. And by the time Murder Holes is in, I mean, those Cavalier will not have taken down that castle. So a huge win for the Tyrants there. And, you know, Doubt may have just taken the score lead this game, but I feel like that's an MVP-worthy play from Viper right there. Very, very nice. And meanwhile, MBL doing Onager right now. Cutting away at the trees in the middle of the map, making some more space, I guess. I mean, space is such a difficult thing to come by here. And also, you know, giving them a hill to work with, too, on this left side.
Yeah, a little bit of skirmisher raiding in the back of the economy here from MBL. Doubt is dropping stables everywhere because elephants are so slow. Elite Battle Elephant is in for Doubt, and he is continuing to walk around on the front and soak up damage. MBL is all in for pikes. He has gone into Halberdier. Are you still there,
Here
Zach?
they come.
Yeah, here they come.
I'm still here. Here they come, the Elite Battle Elephants going headlong into the Halbs. And obviously, the Skirms at the back need to get the hell out, because they're doing nothing to these Battle Elephants right now. But, man, the Halbs should be good. The problem is they're taking damage from the Arbalest. And let's be honest here, Arbalest and Battle Elephants is a better combination than Skirms and Halbs, period. Even with the siege in the back, the Aftermath team will not hold this for long if this continues.
Yeah, that extra range from the Viper on his castle is making it annoying for Hart to even take gold on the edge, on the periphery of that gold patch. So Hart is in so much trouble even there. And by the way, his teammates don't have very much gold miners either. A little bit of chaos inside of the economy of Doubt. Hart is trying to do some raiding there, but it looks like Tyrant is pulling way ahead in this one, Zach. And I'm going to leave it to you because you can tell my voice is dead.
Okay. Well, they want to stop the battle elephants from Doubt, and if they can raid his farms, they can slow him down. You have a look at the food for Doubt. He's actually very, very low on food. He just bought 600 from the market just to keep the battle elephants flowing. But yeah, on the right side, Tyrant have got a huge push down. Another castle from the Viper on the hill. That's a real, rubbing salt into the wounds of Aftermath here. No, that's just a show of wealth. That's like, just showing them, hey, look, I'm so rich, I can afford to buy not one, but 2 castles, and I'm going to drop it on your face right where you cut away yourselves. So I think Tyrant are on the way to win this at the moment. Just look at that area on the east of the map. There is so many villagers gathering gold. They look like ants, It's just so strange seeing villagers just enclosed like this, mining, really working hard. But the Tyrant guys have so much gold, and there's going to be so much that they can do with that the Aftermath team simply won't be able to contend with. There's the castle from Viper coming up, and oh boy, that looks like the beginning of the end for Aftermath right here. Even with the raiding coming in from Heart, I don't think it's enough.
Yeah, no gold eco here. It's just absolutely dire straits for Aftermath. They're trying to do Hussar raiding, but it is a desperate last attempt. And once those Hussar are cleaned up, and once the castle is up, I think the GG comes in. And I think Tyrant sweeps the series 4-0. And I'd have to ask if you would be surprised about that, Zach.
I would. I really would. I would have expected to see Aftermath get at least one game. But at the moment, it doesn't look likely. They're not going to give it up just yet, though, and it's not over until the Aftermath team say GG in the chat. I guess Viper's economy is not looking so good at the moment. He's only got 30 villagers, and I think every single one of them is mining. Okay, maybe not every single one. He's got 17 gold miners and 8 lumberjacks. It's not a lot of eco for Viper, but he's still got a lot banked up, a lot of wood and gold in the bank. He can still make a lot of arbalest here. And really, the thing that's going to finish this game is it's going to be the battle elephants from Doubt. It's so many skirms from Leary just asking for it right now. And the big problem that the Aftermath have is that once they start losing these buildings, they're losing their production. And this ground, this space is really valuable. There isn't much space to build on this map, and you can't exactly fall back and rebuild your military production buildings. Once they're gone, and you've got no space left to build anymore. It's a huge momentum shifter, and something that's going to put the Tyrants even further ahead as they continue to push through on this right side, and Aftermath just don't want to call it yet, but the writing is on the wall at the moment, I feel.
Sure is. The Viper is stonewalling in that gold on the left side as well. So in a few minutes, maybe a minute from now, it will be even harder for Aftermath to ever find any more gold in this match. There is a little bit of hunt in the north from MBL, maybe. He's got a bunch of villagers around a mill, but that's not going to help him too much. There's really no hope here, and I don't know if you can... I think you can chalk it up to not having an elephant sieve, right? You need Ellie's here.
Yeah, there's such a great use of population space. Just for the record, Tato has 79 gold miners right now out of 120 villagers. There is no trade, of course. I mean, you could try to trade, but I don't know how. You'd probably have to, build markets on the elephant patch in the south and go along there, but it's super hard to protect. But yeah, right now, Tyrant's slowly grinding their way forward, like I say. I mean, Viper's military count is at 112. He's only got 34 vills, which is insane. He's got a 2-to-1 KD, which is even insaner. And at the moment, yeah, they're just locking down the left side. They've locked down the right, and that slow, steady push through the center of the map seems a little unstoppable at the moment. I'm very concerned for Aftermath. They're losing ground on the left side as well. More elephants from Doubt coming in over there. More arbalest from Viper to follow through with more damage as well. And Aftermath, oh, they're broken. They're absolutely broken. There's nothing on the left side to stop this now. And I think that has to be GG very, very soon. They don't want to call it, but I mean, who could blame them?
Yeah, the bloom is off the rose here. Aftermath was the favorite for me coming in. I thought that it was their games to win. I did predict Tyrant winning, but I thought that they were the better team. But Tyrant here today, they will run the sweep 4-0 by the looks of it. Aftermath wants to continue to raid with that group of Hussar coming in from the blue player Heart, but it's such a closed map that Elephants just really zone those Hussar off from a lot of damage. They're just taking pokes from the Ellies all the way through the eco, taking arrow fire from the Viper, taking arrow fire from TCs. Ultimately, there's no end in sight. There's no help in sight for the Aftermath boys.
Absolutely. It's been a rough day for them today. They've, done so well this tournament. I don't think they expected it to end quite like this. A 4-0 sweep for the Tyrants would be, well, it is insane, and no one, well, not nobody, but very few people would have predicted that scoreline. I know some people did, but they're just the Tyrant fanboys, and I think Tyrant are going to win themselves a lot more fanboys after today's performance as well. Heart's economy now getting gutted out. There's no way he can stop this. There's just too many Elephants, and Hussar just don't cut it.
Yeah, I don't see much hope. MBL is basically losing his entire base. GG's congrats come in from Leary. GG guys from MBL. GG is in. Well played from Heart. The Aftermath guys will resign and Tyrant will win 4-0. And I am just floored, Zach. I'm so surprised by this.
Incredible play. Well played by the Tyrants there. And wow, I mean, what a performance. 4-0 in the grand finals of Battle of Africa. They will take the victory, and they will clean sweep it as well. Really, really well done by the Tyrant team. And we're going to get Viper on the phone, I think, Killer B. We're going to get him here. We're going to say congratulations to him in person, and hopefully the rest of the team as well. I'm going to arrange that. I'll let you say some parting words here about this game.
Sure, I will say a few parting words. My voice, as you guys can tell, is cooked, but that is only because I'm a little sick and I'm a little bit pumped up for these games. A whole lot of fun. Going to look quickly through the achievements, but really that game comes down to the Viper's range on his archers and arbalests being too much for MBL to make any pushes with his siege. Doubt's ability to switch into Elephants and tank damage, and Tyrant's ability to stonewall the corners of the map. There was just really no hope for Aftermath, especially once the Viper dropped a castle on that left side. It was a big Cavalier play from Heart. It was a good set of games, but that last game, hotly contested, does go to Tyrant. I do think they had a little bit better Civ picks. I do like having an Elephant Civ there, and that is going to be the end of this series at 4-0. However, the game is launching again. I'm not sure who. I'm not sure what that is about.
I'm just gonna we're gonna jump into TeamSpeak with Viper, Doubt, Jordan, and Tato here. Can you just make sure people can't see the password when I send it to you?
No problem.
And I will PM it to you I'll put it in our TeamSpeak channel.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sending it to you on TeamSpeak, and then we're gonna go join them here. So let's go say hello.
All right.
Okay.
Hey.
Hello. Hey,
Congratulations.
Hello.
You won.
Thank you.
Thank you, Zach.
Doubt wanna be in the charge now with the interview.
What?
Okay, all right. Doubt, we're going to aim all the questions at you. Is that okay?
Of course, it's like in the games, everything aims to me. But, yeah.
All right. So just so everyone on the stream can recognize the voices, we have Viper, Jordan, Doubt, and Tato here in TeamSpeak. We've also got Nilly joining the channel, so it's a bit of a party right now. Congratulations, you guys, again. 4-0 victory over Aftermath. Obviously, they did take the first set that you played against them 3-0. How
Jordan.
much preparation did you guys do for this last series?
We put Jordan on bench, and it's quite a difference, man. Quite a difference. As you can
That
guys
was
see,
so expected.
you can guys see what Jordan on bench. Well, he's good at Excel. To give him credit.
I'm 3k there at least.
Okay, Viper, maybe you could answer that question, and Doubt can leave his comments until the next one.
Well, we have gone through each map, planned strategies, planned how to do things, what civs we want, what type of compositions, and it's quite insane how every single thing went to plan. Like our prediction of what maps they will pick, the order of the maps, everything is like every single thing is pretty much in our Excel. Like this is how we thought this would go.
And
all
there's
the
where
civs-
Jordan shines, man.
Shut up, doubt. And all the civs as well. Everything fell into place. It's quite insane.
Okay, so you actually went into this with a sort of expectation of what Aftermath were going to do. Did you plan around what you thought they would do, or did you plan for the game you wanted to play?
We know that they want to play without sling and play standard, and they trust their own abilities that way. And we think that's a big weakness as well, because some of these maps is all about strategy. Then the skill.
And we removed our biggest weakness. Go on,
And
Viper.
it's also predictable, right? So
Yeah, it's very predictable. So, yeah, I mean, we came up with some good strategies, some good plans to use different civs as well, and yeah, everything just fell to place, and all the predictions as well. Just everything was. We were sitting here like, wow, can't believe we got everything so spot on.
Awesome. So, Doubt, a question for you then.
Oh, no.
Game number 2, Jordan 23 replaced you in that match. What are your thoughts on that? Why were you not playing in game 2? Why did Jordan play that one?
Because I didn't want to shoot myself after the donut game. I wanted to play more. And need to give a poor Jordan chance. He was like there all day, all night, like, okay, you can play one game.
Thank you, Dad.
How much did you have to pay him, Jordan?
Like $100 each.
Okay, well, I mean, you played that game. You guys got the win, obviously. So I don't.
Yeah.
Well,
think
to
there
be
were any
honest,
regrets in
Jordan
that
played
decision.
really well.
Yeah.
On donut.
Can we
Yeah.
record
Humble
this
Doubt.
somewhere?
Well, he did fine job, definitely.
It's on the record now.
I'll
So,
have to mark that in the schedule, in the calendar.
Killer B, do you have any questions? I see Nillian here as well, so we should let Nilly ask some questions. I don't want to just sort of be asking
There's a big
questions.
queue of interviews coming, so
Yeah. We'll just stick around for the whole thing, I think, but obviously
Sure.
give everyone an opportunity to ask. Killer B?
Yeah, so I'll be quick since my voice is obviously trash at this point in the day.
We can hear.
I first want to say thank you to the organizers, MemTV and Swiss Boy. I think put a lot of this together. Great map pool. This was a ton of fun to watch. We did see some great play from a lot of teams. Finland, SY, Aftermath, and you guys get the win. I guess my big question, since I know you guys are all really cool guys and you all like each other a little bit more than you might lead on, how do you plan to spend the money that you've won today? Are we going to see like a Tyrant vacation with all of you guys, like with your Doubt socks on, laying on the beach somewhere?
Well, first thing I do, I will tell my wife I lost it, so I have some money for myself. Nah, not well. It's not that huge prize, but yeah, it's definitely nice, man.
yeah, I think all of us we aren't really thinking about the money. It's all about the prestige
Yeah,
of
yeah.
winning this tournament. That was more worth to us than the prize money.
Wise
So, of
words,
course-
Swiper.
Yeah, thank you, Doubt. But yeah, the money is nice as well. Of course, it's a bonus.
It's also been really great to watch you guys bringing on Tato a few months back and to see how quickly you guys have gelled as a team. I think you've gotten better throughout this tournament. Would you guys agree with that?
Definitely. Yeah, Tato's gelled into the team perfectly. He's such a good fit for us.
He even starts to troll me, man.
Yeah. Well, he's a great personality combined. It goes very well along with all of us, and yeah, play style as well. He's one of the best players out there, and
Exactly. Thinking out
Yeah.
of the box, which is really important in Bolo Kingdoms.
yeah, he's a really good attribution to our team.
Yeah.
Great, guys. That's all I got over here because my voice is gone. But much love to you guys. Thanks so much for all of the entertainment. It's been so fun to watch.
Thanks for casting.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Killer
thank
B.
you.
Always nice.
Okay, I see Nillian there. I wonder if he's there. Let's get some questions from Nillian here.
It's all fine. I know that more people will queue up with more questions, so I will just let you go. And thanks so much for the entertaining games, guys.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Nili.
All right. Well, in that case, I'll do the same. Thank you again for just giving us a few moments of your time. Congratulations. Thanks to Swiss Boy and Member, of course, for putting the whole event on. And hopefully we'll see you guys again soon in some future tournaments, you know?
Yep. Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
See you.
Yep.
Congrats, guys. See ya.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, we have killed TeamSpeak. We have had a good time here today. As you can tell, my voice has been GG for about, 20 minutes now. got a little bit of a cold, and I did cast for 8 hours yesterday, so I'm not quite on the top of my game after all of this. But an incredibly good set of games. I do want to say big thanks to Milmano for subscribing during that last game. He's 7 months in. It's 5 months until 1 year. I can't wait. Thanks to all of you guys for hanging out. Usually I'm trying to be much more interactive with the chat, but of course, when we're co-casting such a high-level game, it's pretty hard to keep a conversation. So I hope you don't take it as disrespect. In the end, Tyrant will win 4-0. I'm pretty surprised. I guess one scenario that was possible in my mind was that Aftermath could win 4-1 or 4-0, jump all over Tyrant. I didn't think Tyrant would be able to sort of break down Aftermath the way that they did. But boy, I was wrong, and that's why we played the game. I think today the more experienced team won. And at the end of the day, that's what puts money in your pocket. That's what puts fans on your channel. So good ups to them. And it was a great set of games from Aftermath. They didn't necessarily play their best in this set, but they did play a great tournament. They did have some amazing games. So I hope you guys enjoyed the co-cast with Zach. I hope you enjoyed the interview. I hope you enjoyed all of this beautiful coverage of a really great tournament. I think it's only fitting, since my voice is dead, for me to call it a day. I'll try to come back tomorrow and probably play some matches or cast some games, so I hope you'll join me. You can always find me Tuesdays at 17 GMT, so I'll be here as well for that. But I think it's only fitting, even though we don't have a massive viewership, I think it's still appropriate to throw a host over to Mem here to close the day. He's the guy who got this tournament rolling, and I hope you guys will give him some love and some encouragement. It was a great set of games. I mean, the map pool really did bring out some new civs and some fun situations. It created some problems that players were solving week to week. We saw the meta evolving on these maps. This was an incredible tournament, and it's a big ups to those guys who put it on and who sponsored it. So that's it for me. This is Killer B signing off. Much love to you guys. Thanks everybody who hung out here. Please come back another time and we can have a better discourse, you and I, as the games go on, rather than just me talking at you. I hope we can learn a little bit from each other and have some fun. Just want to roll the credits real quick because we did get some nice donations. We did have some cool moderators here and, of course, some new followers as well. Okay, that's it for me, guys. Much love to you. Thanks again. See you tomorrow. Love you. Bye.